All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back at Good Critic, Bad Critic. I am with Captain Quintano and Syrupus Maximus, which is an inside joke that nobody will understand. But we are back, and we had a change of plans here. We started to. This is Captain Quintano's idea, and I don't know how Craig feels about it, but I was initially not receptive to this idea, and I'll probably explain why in a little bit. But Revenge of the Sith, this is episode 3 of the Star Wars prequel trilogy here. And Revenge of the Sith, it's its 20th anniversary as well. It has made I think it's been out for 2 weeks now. I could be wrong about that, but I think it's been 2 weeks since they've done this. And it has made over $50 million worldwide.
Sheesh.
Since it's come out. And this is a 20-year-old movie, folks. It has even outperformed the Accountant 2 so far, which is
still got to watch that.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It now, it may not be the best Star Wars movie, but at least it's Star Wars. And this is where I'm going to ask you guys to let me vent a little bit here.
I am going to... Quinton, I don't know about you. I'm going to go on mute. Let's let him go.
Okay. Well, this is going to be a rant here for quite a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars is dead. I was a pretty big Star Wars fan. I wouldn't say that I was the biggest Star Wars fan, but I was a fan. I love the original trilogy. The original trilogy is the lightning that George Lucas caught in a bottle, I think. It really is. It literally changed the film industry and how filmmaking was done. I was born after they came out, but my brother loved them to death. Rob, if you're watching, I love you. I think he's actually subscribed to this channel. But anyway, he was the one who made sure that I at least had a VHS experience of the original Star Wars trilogy when I was a kid. I wore out those VHS tapes.
I bet, man.
My brother even took me to all 3 movies when they were re-released as the special edition, which came out in theaters in the mid-90s. That was when George Lucas did the added the effects later after, like 15 or 20 odd years or whatever it was. So in a way, I did get to experience Star Wars in the theater as a kid. But I was 11 years old when The Phantom Menace came out. The joy I had watching the prequel movies in a theater as they were coming out is something that it's impossible to describe, like the excitement. It was a great feeling that I probably haven't had in a very long time. But now I'm of the belief that the prequel trilogy is not nearly as good as the original trilogy. But guess what? It still feels like Star Wars.
Yes.
It really does. It has the space opera adventure, the hero's journey, good versus evil, all the things that are it's just a staple of Star Wars. You knew what you were getting, even if the films were not as good as the originals. I'm sure Quentin has a different opinion of that, but anyway, that is not the case today. Disney has been in control of Star Wars since about 2012, I think. Right around 2012. I could be wrong about that. But I think it's 2012. And since 2012, they have put out 5 movies in the theater. And 2012, thank you, Go. So since 2012, Disney has put out 5 movies in the theater. Only one had the anticipation that George Lucas Star Wars film had. And that was the very first one, The Force Awakens. Let's put that into perspective for a second. George Lucas has put out 6 Star Wars movies, and you can make an argument of how many of those are good and how many of those are not. Me personally, I would say 5 out of 6 are good. Or at least good enough. I might be generous with that declaration, but I'll stand by it. That's debatable. But by contrast, Disney Star Wars has put out 5 films. You know how many of those I believe to be good films that are rewatchable? Craig says 0. I'm saying 1. And I'm saying
the first one.
And I'm being generous with rewatchable. And no, it is not the first one. It is
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yes.
Rogue One was good.
Sorry, I forgot that was.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I forgot that was Disney. But yeah. Okay, fine.
And even Rogue One has issues. And if you argue that Rogue One isn't a good film, you could be right. You could be right. But that's the one for me. But George Lucas put out arguably 5 good films. And Disney Star Wars has put out 1. Also, Disney Star Wars has like a dozen Star Wars shows on Disney Plus.
Oh, there's a shit ton at this point. They're milking it.
I don't know because I've for a few years now I've just not cared anymore. But it's hard to keep track, especially if you were someone like me who tuned out after having enough of that garbage. And that brings me to why I'm talking about this, because it needs to be said. George Lucas's Star Wars is revered. It just put out a mediocre to good movie on its 20th anniversary in theaters around the world and has made over $50 million. Why? Because it is actually Star Wars and it is revered. It made people feel something.
Yeah.
It inflamed people's imaginations. It made people feel good and offered them a chance for escapism, which is, I feel like today is very badly needed.
Lacking.
And lacking, yes. Now, do you think 20 years from now, there will be a massive amount of people around the world going to see the 20th anniversary of Rise of Skywalker?
Fuck no.
Do you think there will be a massive amount of people going to the 20th anniversary of The Last Jedi? Do you think there will be a massive amount of people around the world to see the 20th anniversary of fucking Solo?
No.
Hell no.
The Acolyte, of course, because we'll all progress.
No. Yeah. Disney doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They never have, and that's why you will never see anybody going to the 20th anniversary of any type of movie they put out, at least in my opinion. And that's because they put out flaming garbage year in, year out. And because of that, Star Wars is dead. Disney Star Wars is a monstrous pile of flaming dog shit. It really is. And the fact that people are flocking to see Revenge of the Sith in its re-release 20 years later, just to remember what seeing an actual Star Wars movie looks like.
And it's not a perfect movie by any means.
No, it's not. In fact, I might shock you with what I have to say about it later. But
no, I think I don't think you will.
But just to see an actual...
That's lucky. I won't shock you with what I have to say about it then.
Yeah. But it just that people are going to see this movie in droves just to remember what an actual Star Wars movie looks like and feels like, and they want to feel that nostalgia for just a brief second again. And because of that, I think it's my view that this was a lot of Star Wars fans saying goodbye to the franchise in a lot of ways. When me and Captain Quintana were walking in, there were a ton of people walking out of the theater because they had just seen the showing before ours, and they were buzzing.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard that about a Star Wars movie probably since these movies originally came out. I mean, Force Awakens generated a lot of buzz, but then after a while it kind of wore off.
Died out when the other two came out. It was like Force Awakens never even happened.
But it just makes me so angry. Disney took a brand that was practically untouchable and obliterated it, destroyed it. And it wasn't a methodical, slow death either. It was immediate. It was immediate.
Swift and ruthless.
This is what happens when you don't know what Star Wars is, or you don't know what the fuck you're doing with it.
They didn't know what they're doing with it. Two different directors, and they put one in the middle.
Yeah. It is something about them just trying to do it. I mean, there was nothing original about it. Is the problem. Had they have tried to bring in some new characters, I mean, there's a million reasons why the movies didn't work out with the sequels. But to just try to reuse the same tired shit after you had such a beautiful conclusion to a story. To just try to reuse and revive and make shit all just try to bring it back was just stupid on their part. There's so many things that went wrong.
The George Lucas Star Wars movies are filled with adventure, the hero's journey, spaceships, good versus evil. It was simple. It was fun. It was exciting.
Music.
And
funny.
Music was great too. Funny parts in there. And to this day, it is revered.
Heroicism in the face of adversity and not giving up.
Yeah, to this day, it is revered and loved. If George Lucas had done a fraction of what Disney has done with Star Wars, none of his 6 movies would be loved today. Not a single one of them. George Lucas wouldn't even dare to think of some of the trash that Disney Star Wars has thought of. If you think of what George Lucas has done to infuriate people, because there was a bit of it during the prequels. Jar Jar Binks comes to mind. Little Anakin and teenage Anakin.
I like little Anakin.
I don't. I like teenage Anakin better. But too much CGI, maybe. A second Death Star in Return of the Jedi.
This is what you call
CGI Yoda, maybe the Ewoks. All of that I just said right there, I can live with that. I can live with that. There, some of that is stuff in there is bad, but I can live with it. But you know what George Lucas didn't do? George Lucas, he didn't copy and paste the first movie into a movie that is almost exactly the same damn movie. And I'm talking about Force Awakens, of course. Yes, thank you, Quentin. He didn't make the main character invincible from the get-go without any training whatsoever. He didn't make the main villain redundant by having him get his ass whooped by that same character that has had, again,
the main
no training
antagonist
whatsoever.
Yeah,
the main antagonist.
If that happens, then they have no training whatsoever, and they're beating the main villain. Why should I have any worry that this main villain is going to be a problem for anybody else in the movie for the rest of the movie? It's
Where's the hero's
really
journey?
stupid.
Where is the hero's journey that Luke Skywalker gave?
Where are the fun, quirky moments? Where's the fucking kind of shitty dialogue that is still charming in its own way? Like there's something that George Lucas created, and I didn't realize this to Brian's point, but the dialogue in these films at times isn't the greatest, but it still is Star Wars. It's Star Wars. That's what they built that shit on, man. And you take that away, and it's a shit show.
Yeah, but I'm not done here. I got a lot of things.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We should mute ourselves again.
But yeah, you destroy the main villain right away in the sequel trilogy. Why should I have any problem thinking that any jabroni's going to have any problem whipping this dude's ass at any second? The person that just beat him just picked up a lightsaber for the first time and has no training in the Force. Lucas would have never done something like that. George Lucas didn't have one of its most iconic characters ignored by everyone else in the movie. I'm talking about Chewbacca. He was ignored constantly by characters left and right in the sequel trilogy. George Lucas didn't fail to reunite the 3 most beloved heroes in the franchise in the first movie. The fact that none of the Disney films have Luke, Han, and Leia in a scene together is fucking criminal. No excuse for that whatsoever. That's one of the worst ones. George didn't turn Luke Skywalker into a little bitch. Luke Skywalker did everything he could to turn his mass murdering father away from the Emperor. You think he's going to give up on his confused nephew after one go and then go fuck off into exile to cry about it for 30 years? George Lucas didn't make the brain dead decision to add gravity in a space battle where there's no maths except for the spaceships. Fucking stupid. He didn't have someone milk an alien titty. He didn't have the entire galaxy depend on gas. Do you guys remember that in the movie Solo, where they have an opening thing and it's like everyone's fighting over gas? Like
I only watched.
All of a sudden, it's like a Middle Eastern oil tycoon.
I only watched Solo for
introducing gas.
The Darth Maul scene.
Doesn't ring a bell, but green space cow titty milk. What the?
Where do I get some of that?
No.
Andor.
Yeah. He didn't have characters brought back from the dead. Palpatine. Because, somehow he returned.
Unlimited power.
Because what they really did was run out of ideas. George Lucas, he didn't throw out an entire catalog of canonized content to make a whole bunch of new trash content, and then bring back characters from the content you just decanonized, because all of your new characters are boring, worthless, and unlikable.
Facts.
And in the process of doing that, you make iconic expanded universe characters a shell of themselves, and even completely different to what they were like in the EU. Of course, my first one that comes to mind for me is Thrawn.
In the EU? Well,
extended universe.
Expanded universe.
Oh, right, okay.
So that's like Legends, right?
It's called Legends now. Yes, it's called Legends. George Lucas didn't have characters parkouring for no reason. I never once in a George Lucas Star Wars movie saw...
he did in Revenge of the Sith when Dooku just decides to flip off the thing to greet.
No, but he's actually getting somewhere. He's going from the from that little balcony to the ground to walk up to them and fight.
You're talking about the parkour in Obi-Wan,
in Kenobi. I think it was the very first episode. I watched some bitch fucking parkour for 10 minutes and not go anywhere.
The Inquisitor, yeah. That's funny.
It was one of the dumbest things. I think I'm actually more mad about that than not having Luke, Han, and Leia reunited. I watched that and I immediately shut it off. Said, fuck off. George didn't make the idiotic decision to make Kenobi a streaming series instead of a standalone movie.
Which it originally was.
Quentin and I actually discussed this after watching Revenge of the Sith on our way out of the theater. If they made the Kenobi series a 2-hour movie instead of a show, they would have made $1 billion.
Which we just found the Patterson cut that is pretty decently received, of the 2.5-hour movie that he edited together, added music, cut out unnecessary bullshit. So we'll see how that is.
Hopefully they cut out some unnecessary parkouring too, because that was
parkour
idiotic. George Lucas didn't have Force-sensitive characters who you didn't quite know if they were good or bad. You always knew if they were good or evil. There was no there's this little gray area we're exploring here. No, there's none of that. Yeah. None of that. It's just cut and dry, like he intended. He didn't introduce space witches.
Space witches that completely uncanonized the Force. And they're like, yeah, the Force is actually like space witch magic juju. And that's how this started. I didn't even bother watching the show, but that's my understanding from what I've heard.
You know about it more than I do. I just know there's space witches. You know us? Thank you. Yes, that's what I feel about space witches. George Lucas also didn't introduce zombies.
Zombie clones.
Let me repeat that. He did not introduce zombies to Star Wars.
With the demographic.
I saw that in Ahsoka, and I responded by shitting in my own pants. Fucking stupid. Zombies. Let's try it. Why not? Zombies in Star Wars.
Dude, lesbian space witches, that is progressive. Zombies, that's what people are going for. They are.
Oh, and speaking of Ahsoka, George Lucas didn't base an entire show on the premise that you have to have seen nearly 100 episodes of a cartoon just to understand what the fuck is going on.
Calm down, Brian. Calm down.
This is the one thing that Quentin would probably disagree with me with.
Very much disagree. I think that the Clone Wars,
fan of that show,
for someone like me who grew up on the prequels, long story short, to be able to watch an entire show that dealt with a lot of the in-betweens between the first 3 prequels, or I'm sorry, I guess from Attack of the Clones to Revenge of the Sith, to watch a show that filled a lot of gaps and gave me a lot of storylines that I've always wondered about, and to do it in such perfectness is incredible. And if you don't want to watch all those, go back and watch some of the main plot point story elements, because you'll get some really fucking great things out of it. Clone Wars is quite exceptional.
It's great filler. But
no, there's some great story arcs, great character development between Anakin. A lot of people had a lot of problems with Anakin throughout the movie because his change is very sudden, very quick. This show, you get to see him slowly over time go into the dark side. It's not like an instant flip of the fucking switch. You know, oh, Padme, baby, must save, dark side, hail Satan. Like, no, it's not that. The show did a lot for me, but I could also completely understand the people that have, you know, either grown up with Star Wars or honestly just doesn't simply have the time to watch through 7 fucking seasons of a show. I get that. And I think for most people who didn't grow up with the prequels, I'd probably would have no interest in watching this. But I did, and I fucking loved every second of it. Only Star Wars I'll defend, and that wasn't even Disney at the time, I don't think. Obviously season 7 was.
Don't think it wasn't. Don't think it was. I'm just going to say I am glad that you enjoyed it, but you said all those in-betweeners, you'd have been better off watching the in-betweeners, mate. I think that would have been your time better spent.
Not for me, because I got invested in these characters. I think Ahsoka is, if not my favorite, she's my favorite character throughout all of Star Wars. Ahsoka is my favorite. So for me,
it should be Rey Skywalker.
Because she's
that's another thing that Disney did that George would not have done. He wouldn't have a character who is not a Skywalker steal the Skywalker name.
Look at name.
But
she's perfect. She doesn't have to try. First thing she can do, she can manipulate the guys in the first sequel. She can.
No, she doesn't have any training. She doesn't have any training. She shouldn't be able to do these things.
That's why she's so good. You don't understand. That's why she's so good. And then
Brian, I think, is still ranting. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I wasn't finished yet. But
I'm sorry. I went off on a tangent too.
Okay, back to mute.
But George didn't have a character who was not a Skywalker steal the Skywalker name. He didn't try to turn Star Wars into something else, like a zombie apocalypse or a political thriller or a live action remake of a cartoon. He didn't have characters survive lightsaber stabbings to the gut.
Don't bring that up,
please. If you took a lightsaber stabbing to the gut, you fucking died. You might have been talking a little bit afterward, but you were on your way out. You were.
Facts.
Made me so mad.
He didn't have to introduce sexual assault or rape to the franchise.
What show is this?
On its toes. This happened recently. Apparently, I watched the scene.
Oh boy!
It's some Imperial officer is trying to have his way with some rebel girl or something. I don't know. It happened in that show Andor recently.
That's not George Lucas.
Let's introduce rape, sexual assault. Why not? He didn't overexpose the Force to make it look like it does in video games. That's another underlying thing where the Force in a lot of the shows, Disney shows, it's video game shit. They made it like so ridiculous, where it's totally out of control. George also didn't shit on well-established characters to prop up new ones that are not even slightly interesting. And finally, you know what George Lucas didn't do? He didn't turn Star Wars into a joke, which is what it is now. Star Wars is a fucking joke. It is dead. It is not coming back to life like Palpatine is either. And if George Lucas had done any of these things that I've just mentioned, if he made any of those moronic and disastrous decisions throughout his run at the helm of the Star Wars franchise,
$4 million,
we would not be sitting here reviewing a movie on its 20th anniversary and talking about how it just made $50 million at the box office over the past 2 weeks. I am willing to bet that none of the Disney Star Wars movies will have any 20th anniversary releases, and if they do, I will be shocked if they manage to make just $5 million over a 2-week period. If they make $1 million, I will be shocked. Because Disney Star Wars is not loved. It's not revered. It's not respected. George Lucas's 6 Star Wars films are. With all of their flaws, all their mistakes, they're still cherished and loved. And they will continue to be for a very long time. Unlike the flaming pile of trash that is Disney Star Wars.
Fuck Kathleen Kennedy.
Fuck Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my
two words.
You guys fire
Hero's journey.
That is correct.
Alrighty.
Okay.
But anyway, we saw a movie called Revenge of the Sith.
that rant was very much needed. If it wasn't you, it was going to be all three of us combined, and we'd never actually get to the review.
I wanted to do it just to get it out of the way, because I know that if we stray, and we always stray off the path, but once we do, we would just go off into Star Wars rants. So I wanted to get that out of the way. One, to benefit my health, and two, to
your mental health.
That we get that out of the way so we can focus on the movie from here on. We actually did
not your health, your mental health, if nothing
else. No, my both, because if I held that in, I'd probably have a heart attack at some point.
One more thing I just want to quickly touch on with the Clone Wars. A character arc that we never got to truly see, and one of the best characters on animated television ever, Darth Maul, throughout the Clone Wars, was one of the coolest fucking storylines and one of the coolest characters in Star Wars history. So for them to finally be able to show his story is amazing. And the only thing I'm looking forward to with Disney is him getting his own animated show, ideally made by Dave Filoni.
Well, I guess you could actually criticize George for that. That's the one time he did bring a character back from the dead.
Maul.
Not only that, I think they did in the first film. I do think it was literally the first film in canon. I actually think they sort of like hyped him up that much, and like he was. I can't remember. It was like this martial arts guy. I can't remember who it was, but it was like, oh my god, like, it was awesome.
You talking about Rey?
No, the Darth Maul.
Yeah, Rey.
All right, yeah, right. Yes, sorry, fucking. I thought you were talking about Rey, as in Rey Scott. Rey.
No, sorry. Yeah. No, we don't speak of her.
Like, Voldemort. So no, I think they should have given him way more. But
Sam Witwer is performing
if that is good, I would happily watch that. Do you know what? I would actually happily watch that.
Sam Witwer. I mean, he had practically his own show. It's so funny because Sam Witwer, he's a huge Star Wars fan, to the point where he constantly was correcting Dave Filoni on set. There's actually a clip that I watched today where there's a scene with Darth Maul. He actually does the voice for Maul in Solo, that short little cameo clip or whatever. So they got Rey to do the acting part, but Sam Witwer, who voiced Maul in the Clone Wars, came back, and they were like, well, we have this idea. We're going to bring him back in this as well. And on the set, he goes, what saber are you guys going to use? And they're going to be like, we're going to use the double-bladed. He's like, no, you can't do that. He goes, at this point in the storyline, Maul would either have the dark saber or one of the Inquisitor's sabers. He's like, you can't do that. And he thought he was going to get yelled at, but they actually would bring him in to kind of critique some shit on set, and he constantly did it throughout filming multiple projects. He also voices Palpatine, Darth Maul, the father, the son in the Clone Wars. He is phenomenal. Most people might know him from the video game The Force Unleashed, which I'm assuming Brian never liked or played because of its very
I played that.
Yeah. I mean, it shows...
Unleashed, I played both of them, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool storyline. The Force is definitely exaggerated with its powers in there. But to see Vader get an apprentice with Sith.
It's a fucking video game.
Yeah.
If I see a characters like in shows using the Force to bring down ships and stuff, like I'm like, dude, that's not where that belongs. That belongs in a video game.
But Sam Witwer, and here's something that I will always appreciate about certain types of people. I think Dave Filoni is one of them, and he's not perfect because he's ultimately under the rule of Kathleen. Can't say that word, Kennedy. There's always, I think that there are people that are in there that want to see Star Wars for what it is, or want to actually try to make it good. But I think it's held down by the oppressive force of Disney and the money-grubbing, hungry shit. Brian had mentioned that maybe 11 shows or something like that. We all might be shocked to know that it's 20 shows that Disney has come out with through animated, 7 live action, and the remaining number have been animated from Disney. It is
how many live actions?
Two.
7 live actions, and the rest were animated. They are money hungry. They don't give a fuck about the continuity. I am just happy that there are people like Sam Witter. There's probably very few of them.
Can I interrupt you for a second, because that's
sure.
actually a very good point you just made there. Like they have 7 live action, and then the remaining 13 are animated, and it's as soon as I hear that, like, because Star Wars used to be like this exclusive thing where it was an event,
it was a theater experience.
It was a gathering, it was a happening, and I just hear like that they have 20 shows, and I immediately think of that Dave Chappelle stand up in the year 2000 when he's like, you guys probably remember this joke, but he was like, if pussy was a stock, it would be plummeting right now because you flooded the market with it. And it's the same thing with Star. Like, you just keep pumping out this stuff like left and right. You don't know what you're doing. You don't even know what you have. You're just throwing shit against the wall. And now you've oversaturated Star Wars everything to the point where nobody wants to fucking see it.
It's not even just Star Wars. These studios get their hands on a huge IP, and all they want to do is what makes the most money. So, I mean, look at James Bond. Look at James Bond. Look at Star Trek. Look at all these things, for example. James Bond just got fucking bought by Amazon. You'd be crazy to think that they're not going to pump out some fucking 13-season show to try to rake in as much money as humanly possible. I think that when COVID happened, the fucking studios saw this as a time, or showmakers, whoever is in charge of this shit, like, oh, no one's going to go to the theaters anymore. Theaters are dead. And unfortunately, that's what the fuck is happening all across the world. Not enough people are going and supporting truly great films in theaters because they could just sit on their couch, pull up a streaming service. They have at home same day release as theaters to your fucking couch. People are lazy. They don't want to go out and see a movie and support cinema. And that is a huge problem. It's not just with Star Wars. It's everywhere, man. It's fucking bullshit.
Go ahead, Greg.
I was just going to say, like, the Star Trek thing, they had that bloody, I think it's called Below Deck or something like that. There was a fucking Star Trek cartoon show. Came out a few years ago. Apparently it was just propaganda bullshit. Like, just, like agenda stuff. That was literally what it was. And there's no problem with that, but it's just like, that is not what Star Trek is about. And you're completely right. Everything Brian said before, completely right about everything he said before. And Star Trek is dead, and fuck it, I'll be the one to say it. Kathleen Kennedy killed it. She got put in charge, and
I disagree. I think George killed it the moment he signed that fucking thing over to Disney. I think that's what killed it, because he actually fucking handpicked Kathleen Kennedy to run the shit.
Wonder why? Like, what? Theory. He fucked her.
No.
He fucked her. She claimed. Then she said that she was going to tell everyone that it wasn't a consensual fuck, and that she wanted all the properties, all the rights to do whatever she wanted.
This is all allegedly.
I'm completely joking. This is
that would be like a badger going with a fox.
I'm gonna get sued. I'm gonna get a fucking suit in the mail by Kathleen Kennedy.
Here's another. Eventually, we do actually have
allegedly,
to get
in my imagination.
Yes, I'm sorry, Brian.
All the quotation marks.
Eventually, we do have to get the Revenge of the Sith, the movie that we actually watched. But but just another like 10 minutes on this, because what you said about I actually disagree with something you said.
Shoot,
Quentin, and that is that nobody wants to go to the theater anymore. I think people do want to go to the theater.
They just want good content.
When there is something good to watch and something that has a buzz, people can't wait to go fucking see the movie. I think Top Gun, the Top Gun,
Oppenheimer.
I'll stop you there. When I walked out with Top Gun, me and my best mate, we went to see Top Gun 2. I had the biggest smile on my face walking out of that cinema.
And this is coming from an Englishman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
two
like
English guys
America.
We had a big grin on their face, and we're getting ready to fucking hold up an American flag and sing Yankee fucking Doodle, all because it was a good movie.
It was fucking awesome, and that's all I want.
There it is.
I was entertained. It was fucking awesome. It's what I wanted. I know what it's Top Gun. I know what I'm going in for. I got more than I wanted, and I was fucking happy.
It was an
simple
event. And yeah, stuff like that. There's been other examples that I probably can't think of off the top of my head right now, but there's been a handful of times where Dune, the second Dune movie.
Yeah. But once again, Dune was also fucked up. Dune Part 1 came out not in theaters but at home on HBO Max.
Right, they fucked that one up. But then they realized
it wasn't their fault. That was for COVID. And then the following was so huge. And Denis Villeneuve, thank God, we were able to kind of get back to the theaters. I think you're 100% right. I'm not going to argue that point at all because I think you're right. I think that there's just a lack of good content. There's an oversaturation of shit. Marvel, for instance, they'll get a few bangers and they monopolize the market. And those were the movies that you could go through and get excited about. At least speaking for myself here, I was pumped when a good Marvel movie would come out. It's like you rush to the theaters to see it. You're there. You're staying off the internet for fucking 2 days to avoid spoilers. That was an event. But it's just all rundown IP. It's just bullshit. There's no original ideas. So I agree with you completely there, man.
Thank you for clarifying that in the chat.
Yeah.
Serapis Maximus, because I was like, George should do that. No.
No.
But it's like the fucking. Have either of you seen Field of Dreams?
Well,
no.
Is that Kevin Costner one? Where
it is a Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
So I know Quentin
it's a baseball.
It is a baseball movie. I'm a baseball guy, so I've seen it pretty much every baseball movie out there. But I literally think that this is the theater environment right now is just like the scene in the movie where he hears the voice. If you build it,
if you make it, yeah.
If you build it, the people will come in droves. If you make something that fires people up and makes people want to go to the theater, they will go. I guarantee it. And they're just waiting for those good things. The other thing that Quentin mentioned that when he mentioned that Disney was putting all those Star Wars shows out on streaming services and making all the shows, you notice that the shift was it because once they were making the movies and initially they were making money, but then they were making less and less, and then Solo dropped, and Solo was a bomb, and they were like, "Oh shit, what do we do?" So they halted production on all the movies. But that's when the Mandalorian show came out, and that was their first show on Disney, and it was good. But the reason it was good was because Kennedy and her cronies were not involved initially in that show.
No, that was,
it was Favreau and
it was
Filoni.
Favreau. Yeah,
they were given permission to do this like side show that none of the executives at Disney fucking cared about to begin with. And then all of a sudden, when it became good, they went, "Oh shit, we have to do everything on a streaming service now." And now they're making $600 million 8-episode shows on Disney Plus that aren't bringing in any numbers or new subscribers.
Nothing. And it was Favreau. Here's my favorite thing about because Favreau got The Mandalorian.
Yeah, he also started the fucking MCU practically with Iron Man. Quick little thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, he did. No, that is true because obviously he was in Iron Man 1. But no, like Bill
he directed it. He directed Iron Man 1.
He directed it, but he started it and directed it.
I was happy, yeah.
But yeah, he got Bill Burr, who's one of my favorite stand-up comedians.
Bill Burr is fucking funny.
And he is like multiple times. If you watched all of his stuff, multiple times he shit on Star Wars because he's just like, "Oh, you're a bunch of geeks, you're a bunch of nerds." Blah blah blah. He met Bill Burr met him at a party. Okay, yes, and he met him at a party, and Favreau said, "Do you want to be on a Star Wars show?" And he's like, you do know I've shit on Star Wars all the time. He went, yeah, I know that. That's what will make it funny. We'll actually give you a good character, and that's what will make it funny. And everyone lost their fucking mind when Bill Burr showed up.
The cameo. They were in the bar, right?
No, it was because he had the fucking. He's like the sharpshooter.
He's an Imperial sharpshooter. Yeah,
I was going to say I can't remember the character name, but I keep thinking Mags.
He's one of the better characters in that only is kind of a one-off, but he's better in season. They brought him back in season 2, and Bill Burr was really good as that character in season 2.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, and that was a good cameo. It wasn't fucking Lizzo and Jack Black.
Yeah, but Favreau just went right because Bill Burr has acted, and he said, "I know you can act." And it's ridiculous, but you want to do it because
Jon Favreau was in the suit. He was the. Sorry, go ahead. Jon Favreau. He plays the tank that's in The Mandalorian. You know, one of the big fucking guys. That's Jon Favreau, guy with the giant fucking gun on him. Did you not? Is that news to you?
You need to tell me which episode. I've
it's not. He's throughout the entire Mandalorian show. He plays one of the.
He's one of the Mandalorians, the one that hates fucking.
He hates Mando.
He hates Mando.
Right, okay, right. No, pennies dropped. Yeah, sorry.
And he has that. Tank. I think he's the one that has like the laser Gatling gun or something. Yeah.
When you said tank, I actually thought there isn't a tank in there. Sorry, I was taking it too literally. But no, the fact that he brought Bill Burr in, and Bill Burr was like, "Oh my god, this is so amazing!" And this, do you know what? Let's not go into it. I'm just going to say, fucking Gina Carano. That's all I'm going to say.
What, the whole situation that happened? Yeah.
We probably shouldn't get into that.
If you notice that the rant that I did in the beginthem, I didn't even mention any of that stuff that everybody gets worked up about.
We need to talk about it.
I'm only concerned about them making good stuff and Disney makes trash.
Yeah, but
so I don't even care about that stuff really.
I needed to talk about some of at least my points because I just needed to get it out, you know. My stuff. That specific thing, the Gina Carano thing, I don't think we should get into that. Just for the sake of not getting in any sort of trouble on the internet.
That would be daft. But I'll just say this: take a guess at my opinion. Not you two, just anyone watching this.
All right. Yeah. You guys want to get to Revenge of the Sith?
Shall we actually start talking about it 42 minutes into the...
So let's give it a quick little rundown on how much money it made when it was released, and obviously we know about the re-release. I thought Brian normally has this stuff.
I normally have that stuff, but I didn't do it because
you said so it's made 50 million. And you said it made so you said it made 50 million. These 2 weekends, so it would have made 930 million.
I was going to say, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, earned approximately 902.5 million worldwide at the box office. This includes the domestic earnings of 414 million and international earnings of 488.17 million. This film was a major success upon its release in 2005. This was a follow-up to Attack of the Clones Episode 3 in the prequel franchise. Very anticipated.
What was the budget on this movie when it first came out?
I hope it wasn't too much.
Budget on the Revenge of the Sith was only 113 million, which, in my opinion, is crazy because me and Brian talked a little bit about this before we went and saw the movie. But I actually watched Attack on the Clones directly before going to the cinema. It was like I just watched Attack on the Clones, then we went to the theater to go see Revenge of the Sith. The CGI in Attack on the Clones is so fucking horrendous. And then going to see Revenge of the Sith, my God, did it get better. Just from everything that you're seeing. Coruscant, Yoda got drastically better. So that was fucking cool to see. So for them only having $113 million budget, Nowadays, we have films that have
budget
300
today
million.
would be like $800 million.
Easy. Bro, you go to watch any MCU movie that has a budget of like $400 million, and they look like they were made in 2008. And like that.
That's another big problem they have is it's these explosive budgets that they have for movies like that now cost $700 or $800 million to make. And just 20 years ago they cost $100 million.
I think the most expensive film ever made was
Avatar.
Like 350 or 400 max 400 million. In terms of actual production cost.
No, Avatar was like 3 years after that. Avatar, came out? I guess Avatar was like, 2008
2009.
2009. And that was like $1 billion movie to make.
We made $2 billion.
Either 8 or 9. 2008 or 9.
I'm going to say 9, but...
Never mind. It says the budget for Avatar 1 was only $237 million. But I remember hearing back in the day that
it was the biggest... At the time, it was the biggest box office film that ever
was. It was the first movie to hit $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Well, I think to this day, I still think... I can't remember if it's Casablanca or Gone with the Wind. I think it's Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind.
I think if you adjust for inflation, that is the biggest film. Still to this day, biggest film ever.
Yeah, which I've never seen it.
Yeah, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
But anyway, I mean, just so $113 million budget or whatever it was, 2005. Hayden Christensen, Ian McGregor. You have
Ian.
Help me out here with. Sorry, Ewan. You guys help me out with the cast here, Brian.
He's thinking of Ian McDiarmid, who's Palpatine. If that's how you say, I might be.
No, because I said McGregor. I was thinking of Kenobi, but help me out with the cast here, gentlemen. We obviously have Samuel Jackson, who practically begged George Lucas to give him a purple lightsaber throughout filming of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Hayden Christensen starring as Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader throughout this film. We have Natalie Portman as Senator. Help me out, guys. I'm a
Senator Hot.
Senator Sexy.
So Padme.
Padme. Thank you.
Let's go, Padme.
Amidala, whatever. The cast is great in this film. Brian, help me out. I'm not used to this, bro. I feel like I'm choking.
I didn't write anything down.
All right.
So we have Tamora Morrison, also, who plays all the clones.
Oh, yeah.
You should have got the biggest fucking paycheck out of all of them. Never mind. They were all CG. We'll get to that.
Don't worry about it. In 18 years' time, you'll be in a really shitty movie, really shitty TV series, but you'll get paid a lot of money.
You guys are going to hate me for saying it, but it's one of my favorite. It beats Mando season 1 and 3 for me. I actually enjoy Book of Boba Fett.
Season 1.
It definitely beats season 3, but season 1.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Wait, no. When does Luke show up? At the end of season 1 or season 2? End of season 2. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, went to the theaters to go see this. We're all obviously pretty big Star Wars fans here. And I had to remind Brian, because truthfully, Brian is very fucked up over this whole Disney situation to the point where it actually, when I brought it up to him, he was like, bro, I can't, because, Disney's going to be making the money off of this, understandably. There's some frustration there. And I said, Brian, when are we going to be able to go see a Star Wars movie again? An actual Star Wars movie? When are we going to be able to sit in the fucking theater and hear that music go over our ears?
That one was the one that convinced me and hit me in the feels, because you were absolutely right.
It's never going to happen. Not a new one. Not unless it's a re-release. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Never. I believe. Unfortunately, I believe that it's never going to happen. It's just never going to be the same.
So starting off with this movie, picks up after some time has passed from Attack on the Clones. Some time has passed. Anakin is now a pretty vetted warrior, has grown into quite powerful Jedi. He's got some battle scars to show it. No longer does he have a little ponytail. Now we're in his Justin Bieber era. He's got that emo hair going on. It's Hayden Christensen, not as bad as an actor as he was in Attack of the Clones. He's definitely got a little bit of training since then, not just in the Jedi ways.
It's a big leap forward for him.
It is.
But I would also argue that it's not far forward enough.
It's not.
So
I made a point to Brian.
It's a major improvement, but
and correct. Tell me if I'm wrong here, but I think that also Hayden looked so bad in these films because of the cast that surrounded him. I mean, even his wife, Natalie Portman as Padme in this, was an exceptional actress in all these films. Even when the dialogue that was definitely written by George Lucas, and he goes, "I love you." No, I love you more, Anakin. Like that shit.
No, I'm so in love with you.
It's because I'm so in love with you.
That's it. Oh my
dude,
God.
George Lucas,
fucking
bless his nerdy ass.
I wanted to bring that up later.
He cannot write a love story to save his life.
No,
really
and what's the next scene? They wake up in bed and he's got his like top off, and he like wakes up and he gets out of bed. He puts his top on. She's wearing the fucking same shit she was wearing on the balcony. She's there in this like fucking like it looks like a dress. Yeah, but she's wearing it in fucking bed.
Well, I'll tell you what. They didn't imply that they were fucking. Unlike the, I'm going to go into Disney. I got to stop. Bringing it back.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I was just like, oh my God, like that's crazy. But yeah, so we start off. Should we go back to the beginning?
Yeah. Starting off with Anakin.
I mean, we don't have to go through like the whole thing. I mean, basically what this movie is, this is what everybody wanted to see when it first came out, which is Anakin's turn to the dark side. That's what this entire thing is about. And it's wonderful to see. And as much as some people might have issues with Hayden Christensen playing the way he played Anakin, which you could do a whole episode on that if you wanted to.
Because of sand. That's it. That's
Attack of the Clones. But
I know, but that's the least. I think that just like that line just.
I hate it. It's coarse. Yeah. It gets everywhere.
But you could have all the issues with his performance all you want. You could do an entire episode on that. But by contrast, with the person that his dance partner across from, Ian McDiarmid as
Palpatine, baby.
As the Emperor. Well, he's going to become the Emperor, but Chancellor Palpatine, because it's being seduced by the devil. Yeah. It's exactly what it is. And he is perfect as Palpatine. He is the best. And this is another reason why I think harp on fucking Disney Star Wars again. But to bring him back and that shit, like, you should have just left it alone and not brought his character back. But anyway, his performance is incredible. It's anytime I watch Revenge of the Sith, I can't wait to see Palpatine in a scene. Mm-hmm. I just can't wait. He's fucking terrifying, especially when he finally comes into the
that laugh. The laugh, bro.
Yeah.
That fucking amazing. Laugh for me.
It's the best performance in the fucking entire prequel trilogy. Just tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong about performance, but
I think
his face. We've all three of us seen Aliens, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't.
Aliens.
His face looked like the face hugger, like. The way his face looked, it looked like when they opened the face hugger on Alien, and I was just like, "Oh my God!" Oh,
I can see it.
He looks like one of those guys on a beach in Florida that has spent his entire lifetime tanning and is now paying the price.
Oh, dude, that's every Brit who's moved to Spain, right? Trust me, everyone in there, it looks like a leather handbag.
He looks like my ball sack after I just got into the freezing cold weather of Colorado, and it's all shriveled up and wrinkly. That's what he looks like.
Right, I'll tell you what. You can probably find more things like that in public, going to Spain and just going to like Benidorm or Malaga or just anywhere that Brits are.
Crazy, you know all those names.
Well, Benidorm.
Oh, I thought they were nudist beaches. I'm sorry.
No,
sorry.
There might be, but no, they're just like places that British people go on holiday, and they never put like any.
They never put cream on their face.
No. They just go.
Spain
like,
is. Let's put it this way: Spain is like Britain's Mexico.
Just take your top off and just like cook me. Just like, you just want to get cooked, and then like 12 hours later, you're going, "Oh my god, I can't move.
Gotcha.
Everything hurts." Like that is what Brits do. We do that up north. It's been really nice up here up north. I've seen there's a guy in the shop that I went to earlier, and he was really brown as hell. And I was like, "You been on holiday?" He said, "No, I just sat in the garden." Don't, please don't.
No. How about this? Let's try to give this some structure here. Now that we're at the hour mark.
Actually,
how about this? What I'll start with you, Craig. But what did you like and what did you not like about this movie after seeing it again 20 years later?
What did I like? I liked the actual acting. I really liked Ewan McGregor's acting. Like, you were the joke. Like, it didn't seem that hammy from him. There was a bit of it was hammy from I love you. That's because I'm so in love with you. You know, that was cheesy as hell. But Ewan McGregor, that really worked. Tell you one thing I didn't like was very, very start of the film. Still to this day, there's like this day, you know, like 20 years ago, explosions in space. We knew this. Like everything was exploding in space when the one of the starships gets taken down. Like it just starts falling down, but it's in space. Like there is no doubt it's not getting pulled in by.
Did the explosion not send it down?
No. It just like exploded and then just like slowly tilted and then just started falling down. Like it was like the Titanic. Okay, here's one I didn't like. General Grievous. He had a cough. Why does a robot have a cough?
He's not a robot, bro.
He's not a robot.
Okay, you two.
He's an alien creature from a different planet. I actually, right after the movie, sent Brian a ridiculous amount of lore that he probably didn't want to see about General Grievous.
Okay, break it down.
No, I already knew some of it, but I don't know it nearly as well as you do.
All right, so here we go, super quick. Early life and origins. Before General Grievous, Kagala Jaishlim was a Kalish warlord known for his fierce combat skills and strategic thinking. He was born into a war-torn society on the planet of Kali, where the Kalish were constantly at war with the Hook species. Transformation. In the Legends timeline, General Grievous was injured in a ship explosion, manipulated into blaming the Jedi, then transformed into a cyborg against his will by the Sith. In the new canon, General Grievous voluntarily underwent cybernetic enhancements to become more formidable opponent in lightsaber combat. So as you see the old version with Legends, he was manipulated by the Sith. He was an alien warlord, and he was just trying to fucking fight for his people.
Right. Okay, but he's cybernetic, so...
Cybernetic now. He's an alien species, though, from a planet called Kalish.
But why would he...
Why would he what?
He's still cybernetic. Everything about him is cybernetic. Why
not his fucking heart?
Yeah, but you don't cough from your heart.
Do you want me to look up if he had lungs
in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lungs in there. Like I'm pretty sure there's not a robot. He wasn't a robot with lungs. Anyway, forget that. Okay.
Hold on.
That same with R2D2, where he just puts.
I have your answer. General Grievous's cough is attributed to the imperfections of the cybernetic technology that is used during his transformation into the cyborg. The process of incorporating cybernetics in his body, while intended to enhance his strength and power, left his lungs and respiratory system damaged and irritated, causing the nasty cough. Additionally, the cough is often described as a sign of his imperfect nature, highlighting the limitations of his cyborg enhancements. Here's your answer, buddy. Star Wars nerds don't fuck around with their lore.
Boom. I bet that was written by a guy.
I don't have a dog in this fight, so I don't.
Sat in a basement. Okay. Other thing. R2D2 when he
is overpowered, Brian.
When the two
he becomes more powerful than
you
Palpatine.
can ever imagine. No, R2D2 just like pours like oil everywhere, and then just like fires on it, and it just lights up these two. It's like, no.
Wait, what's not right about that?
Well, you just pick him up and you just smash him like a trash can immediately. But he just like lets liquid out, and then
oh, dude, droids are stupid. You ever hear the conversations they have?
Here's another thing, like exact perfect segue to the next point. Every time R2D2, right, and right, trust me, I am. I'm
ready to defend things, by the way, in case you couldn't tell.
I'm a Star Wars fan. Don't worry. Every time R2, like R2, we need you to activate elevator 3141, and then his like he's not responding to them, but he just goes beep 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 beep. It's like, is he fucking like complaining aloud? Like, is that what he's doing? Is that what he's doing?
He might.
He might. Do you remember the original movies where all R2 does is talk shit? Him and C-3PO are just constantly talking shit to each other.
Why have they put a personality code in it with droid to just like talk shit and just be a fucking like? Just
why did they choose to only wipe C-3PO's memory? There's a lot of questions, but I mean.
You asked me what didn't I like about it.
You want to be mad about a robot? Why did they put swaying hips in that fucking one droid in the Solo movie? You got a robot with sassy voice, and she's swaying her hips back and forth, and she's
that was actually Elon Musk's fuck puppet.
Didn't Danny Glover's character fuck that? Didn't not Han Solo? Lando Calrissian fucking robot. Wasn't that the implication?
Oh, you're talking about Childish Gambino?
So, yeah, same guy.
That doesn't work, Brian. She wasn't Jewish.
Okay.
I was about to say something, but I stopped myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Proud of you.
I've still got a few other things that I have issues with. Because I did like watching this, but issues I have.
There's issues all throughout this film. Every
single place that they're in, like they've got flying cars, and it's like I've never been to America, but I know what the LA highway looks like. Every single like airway path looks like the LA highway. It's like, where are you going? Like, there's no one at work. It's like a metropolis. No one's transporting goods here. Where are you all going? Like,
they're going to their friend's house. They're going to fuck the neighbor. Whatever they want to do. They're still creatures at the end of the day that have needs and wants. Go out on the town for the night.
Every single hour of every single day, right?
They all have jobs.
We all need
going to work.
To and from work.
And the population on these planets is probably insane.
We all need a 5-minute rest, all right? But it was not just like one planet. It was like every single planet. Everything was like metropolis built up.
That's not true. Fucking Tatooine was bare and dry, bro, with nothing but like maybe some slaves walking around.
Yeah, and like no one fucked either. But this was just like it was like built up massive metropolis.
Wait, no one got fucked either. What?
Well, yeah, and Peru and Uncle Owen, they had to be given Luke Skywalker, so They weren't getting down to it, were they? So
okay, I'm confused. Like I thought you were still going on a rant about the traffic on Coruscant.
Yeah. And then you said Tatooine.
And then you
the
said
fact that that's one of your
they have a
issues.
metropolis on every planet, and that's not.
No, but then Quentin said they were all fucking, and I said, well, Aunt Peru and Uncle Owen weren't because Luke is their nephew.
No. You said
they were all fucking.
Yeah, it was like a random outburst, and me and Brian looked at each other like, "Wait, what?"
Okay, all right, okay. Well, forgive me for that outburst. No, but it's just like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, where are they going?
They're busy, bro.
They can't be that busy.
Okay, let me tell you something. Even here,
hold on, wait, Quentin. I need to.
You got this.
He's on to something here, but he's not.
Am I not? I know what you're going to bring up because you talked about it, Brian.
Yeah, I talked about it on the way out of the theater. So, okay, you shouldn't be concerned about where they're going or what they're doing. It's Coruscant. It's the whole entire planet is a sissy. People got things to do. People got to make moves. People are busy. What you should be concerned about is that when shit goes down, like the invasion of the Jedi Temple and the killing of all the Jedi in there and stuff, and the whole thing's flaming into a fiery fuck all. The traffic is still going on. The traffic. So the people who are in the traffic are like, yeah, that building's on fire. That seems normal. Let's keep driving.
Not only a building, but the Jedi Temple.
You got the fucking.
What I'm trying to say is something like that, like a fucking rebellion or a put down of a rebellion, is happening on the planet. Whoever's in charge would immediately shut down traffic across the entire planet.
Yes.
They'd be like, nobody's going anywhere until we get all these fucking Jedi killed or whatever they're doing. You know, that's what you should be mad at.
When you look at everything, it's just like a massive metropolis. Where's the resources? Like, okay, all right, they're coming in from other places. It's like, where are these people going? Like, what is? Why are you
so concerned with where they're going?
Because what's the commerce? Where are they going? What's the point?
Hold on. Would you? Let me ask you this: would you have rather there have just been scenes throughout the whole movie of no one fucking going anywhere, and they're just an empty sky?
Couple of cars. It wasn't a couple of cars. It was
on
like
one of the busiest planets.
What's it? The 147. The one bro. It was This is the thing. It was every single planet on this.
Have you ever been? All right. Think about New York. Do you think that what is it? What's the city that never sleeps?
Stop! Wait. I thought for a second Quentin was going to say, "Have you ever been to Coruscant?"
I was going to say, "Have you ever been?"
Have you ever been to Coruscant?
Go to Miami, Coruscant. Go to Miami, Coruscant, New York, any place that's busy like that, like Miami, bro. The fucking day starts like when the sun comes up. And it doesn't end. It just doesn't end.
Go to the M6 and try to get to Birmingham.
Right? Well, all I'm saying is that these cities never fucking sleep, bro.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like I was like,
especially
it was so constant. But
New York is madness. They literally call it the city that never sleeps.
It wasn't just like one lane of traffic. I just thought. My thought is George Lucas just put in as much traffic as he could because there was like a line here, line here, line here, line here, line here, line here, line here. Like literally, it was just lanes of traffic.
And then you get to the two other planets. I don't know how many planets are shown in this film. One of them is fucking Tatooine, which is like a dry desert planet where there's like no cars driving around. Then you get to Mustafar, that's basically one giant fucking Vader-infused volcano. Like where there's nothing happening.
Oh my god!
Utapau is just a big fucking hole in the ground that they're all chilling in.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
It's just Coruscant. It's a busy town. It's a busy city.
I've taken way too much of this time of me saying
about traffic.
I actually find it very entertaining because I'm like, wow, he's ranting about the traffic on Coruscant. And
yeah, I thought it was fucking ridiculous.
Gives a fuck about anybody in these vehicles. They don't even
I thought flying. You know what? I wrote on my notes flying cars. I went flying cars. Fucking hell, how much? And right, okay, my last point.
You know what they do have in Coruscant? Big, giant, fake green titties. Me and Brian, dude, we're in the theater at one point, and I don't know what part, but they're like walking up the steps.
There is a shot. Okay, so I was admiring a.
You need to explain this one to me.
We were talking about the CGI in the movie, and I was sick because we're sitting right next to each other in the theater, and there is a shot in the movie that I absolutely love.
We hold hands.
It is beautifully done, and it is a shot of the city of Coruscant, and it's when they're hold on, wait. So there's a shot of the city of Coruscant, and it looks like it almost looks like Blade Runner in a lot of ways, but the buildings have
cool.
like advertisements all over it. And it's the shot where they're right before Anakin talks to Palpatine. It's that like opera house or whatever it is. And as the camera's panning over Coruscant, I go, wow, look at this shot. It's amazing. And then I just hear Quentin go, forget that. Look at those fucking tits. And at the bottom of the screen, there is one of the, what are those things called? Twi'leks or something like that? They have the too long things.
Yeah.
Twi'leks or whatever.
Twi'leks. Yeah.
So there's one of them, like a green one of them, and she's in a dress walking up the stairs, and she has a massive set of tits on her. Yeah, she's in a dress and a
they're not Twi'leks, they're two tits. That's what it is.
They're two tits.
No. But I'm just dying because I'm like trying to admire like this CGI shot, like it's very well done, and then he's like, "Dude, forget about the CGI. Look at the fucking knockers on this girl." And I was dying laughing, and it probably took me out of the movie for the next 2 minutes. Like,
dude,
I was laughing hard when he said that.
We're gonna have to get a film where something doesn't take you out of the movie for like any amount of time.
It wasn't even in the movie. It was what Quentin said. I'm trying to watch the movie. Quentin said that, and I lost my mind.
Brian was in that moment.
Joe, the worst thing is there's actually a chocolate bar in the UK, and it's called Twix because we
have Twix here, bro.
You got Twix. You got Twix. You got cool.
Twix is great.
Yeah,
that's like the one British snack that like we have a fuck ton of. Like Twix is like probably as popular here as it is there.
Easy.
Yeah, we got Twix. What the fuck else was that gonna say?
Tits, Twix.
That shit was I'm still laughing about it because I'm like, wow, look at this amazing shot. No, fuck that. Look at those tits.
Look at those titties. Those big green alien tits. They would have been better if she had 3.
Oh god.
Okay, one last thing, and then I think I'll probably just have to shut up for the rest of it and let you two go. Right, all that infrastructure.
No, I hope this one's good. I like that. You
two better come with gun like revolvers. Right,
give it to me.
Mustafar, so it's like a volcanic planet. 1, why is there infrastructure on there? 2, what is it doing? And 3, how is it working? Because as soon as one button is pushed, everything collapses. What does it do? Like, and 3, sorry, 4. Obi-Wan Kenobi should have been eviscerated by heat. The second he jumps on
both of them.
Thing, by not by the lava hitting him, just the actual heat that was emanating off that. He should have radiating off that. He should have been eviscerated. Both of them should. I'm not talking about Anakin at the end of it when obviously.
I'm prepared to answer your first thing with a revolver. The structure on Mustafar is a huge mining complex owned and operated by the Techno Union. The ore was extracted from the lava river by the hammer things that you see and that were hanging over the river. The droids were working it, as we saw in that funny shot where they're just working down below, extracting the ore, and then Obi and Anakin just kind of stroll on by. But it was a huge mining operation. Use that
to make more droids and tanks and shit, right? Or something.
Exactly. Similar to what we see in, I think, Attack on the Clones, where they were making all the droids in that thing. It was all produced with heat and lava. So at the very least, we have that answer. That was what the infrastructure was. What was your next one?
What were they doing with it? Like, why were they like extracting?
I don't know, fucking Star Wars things. Probably making drones and shit.
Fucking
like,
drones and shit.
It's an alien planet.
They're probably making stuff for the droid army.
But that was my second question.
Gotcha.
Okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi should have been eviscerated by the fact that he was
I agree with you. Both of them. I agree with you totally.
10 feet from lava. Like
I have nothing for that besides the fact that they're magical fucking Jedis.
The only rebuttal to that is we do know that in the lore that even before the movie came out that something happened where Anakin had
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, Anakin Skywalker got burned. That's what we know.
Yeah.
He sort of like slid down, and all of a sudden his legs are gone.
No, I have a theory. I actually think that lava
he had him cut off. What are you talking about?
His legs. Yeah, his legs were fucking cut off.
Oh fuck! All right, okay, I missed that bit.
Also,
but how did you miss that? That's like the most. He fucking. That's the. It's over.
No, I thought he cut his other arm off, and then like.
No, and then also it wasn't lava that was underneath, guys. It was a massive pool of syphilis, and the second that Anakin touched it, that's what overcame his body. It was just syphilis. Continuity. Got to keep it alive. Unlike Disney.
Really? I thought it was Mel Gibson making a mistake.
Mel Gibson did something. Mel Gibson just came in and just flamethrowed his ass. Something.
That one killed Quentin, dude. He can't handle. Oh my god! I got Quentin good with that one.
Quentin, pull it together, mate. Pull it together, too.
Mel Gibson using the gas
with a fucking flamethrower, like a proper flamethrower, where it's like liquid. So.
Oh my god! Oh fuck!
Oh my god! We broke him. We've actually broke him.
I was caught off guard. Mel Gibson, I thought was done with, and then this one hit so much better than the last one. Thank you for that, Brian.
So yeah, what did you like about it, Craig?
Well, the acting was fantastic. The music, oh my god, the music on this film.
There's not a single person on earth that could deny the music.
I haven't actually looked it up. I didn't even think I need to look it up. I'm guessing it is John Williams. I'm guessing it is the London Philharmonic Orchestra.
Oh yeah,
and I'm guessing that is exactly why it is so fucking good.
It's unbelievable.
Yes, that is correct.
That fucking music on Mustafar when Anakin and Obi-Wan are having that whole speech. By the way, I literally this isn't like a now after watching this, but I've been looking at T-shirts that just have the initials of every word. Every first word in the whole Anakin and Obi-Wan speech. And it's just like a bunch of letters written out on the shirt that are just the entire dialogue. And I can't wait to get it.
Really?
You were supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them, not lead them in darkness. So good.
You were supposed to be the chosen one.
I like the it's over Anakin. I have the high ground.
Now that's too played out for me.
You know what's not too played out for me and never will be? You know what's not too played out for me and what never will be? It's good. It's hello there.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
So good, bro. It's Craig. I hope you've seen the video. Brian, you've seen the one where he pops open his thing and there's like a million lightsabers. Like, it's not just.
Have you seen the memes that people made? Like, there was a trend of memes. I think it was actually on that Vine thing a bunch of times. But everybody was doing the recreating the scene in their own way. And somebody would play Obi-Wan and drop and be like, hello there.
Yes.
And then the camera would turn and it would be two guys. Usually, like, one guy was on bottom and the other guy was sitting on his shoulders. And both of them would have two lightsaber in each hand.
Please. You need to show me this because I haven't got a fucking clue what you're talking about. Oh my god, that is fucking. I'll tell you what, that was an awesome fight. Right, okay. You said what else do you like?
would happen like 100 times. There was like a fucking string of these that happened in like 2016 or 17, and like everybody was doing these, and it was so funny.
There's some really good ones.
That is a hype, right? I didn't mention that General Grievous, when he splits his arms out and he just starts like, you know, like,
yeah, he would do great in a gangbang.
I don't exactly know how that would work.
Yo,
he's got a lot of hands.
Thinking you've never been in a gangbang.
I'll tell you one thing. Do you guys want to go down nostalgia lane? Well, at least because I'm of the Craig. Did you ever see these in theaters, like when they first came out? Like,
I only saw them on DVD.
I don't know what your experience was like, but I remember a distinct moment in each of the 3 prequel movies, and I'm going to go in order here. But they all had to do with lightsabers. And the very first movie, The Phantom Menace, when all of these made the crowd go crazy. Because every one of these I saw the day it came out on Friday during night prime time.
To live that moment, I would pay so much money.
I need to tell you two this. I know apparently it does happen down south, like closer to London. You get the whole crowd clapping and cheer.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't happen. No, it's like, shut the fuck up. We're watching the film. That's
depending on certain circumstances. I think it's completely justified. Like Darth Maul with the twin lightsabers that I'm sure Brian's getting ready to talk about. Duel of the Fates.
Yeah. But
no, I'm just saying. I'm just like as a sort of cultural extension to you too.
I love that.
It just doesn't happen. Like, I've never been.
That's unfortunate.
I've never been in the cinema where everyone just goes.
You've never been.
Never been. When Captain gets the hammer in Infinity War.
Moments like that.
I've seen that. I've seen that but it's a heady accent in the Royal American. I've seen that on YouTube, but.
I'll tell you one thing that, like, to Craig's point here with the Marvel stuff, I find it really annoying because it's like, what I'm about to tell you with my experience with the prequel Star Wars movies, it wasn't like throughout the entire movie, like people are just screaming and hollering.
The fan service.
I'm just talking about one key specific scene from each movie, and it was pretty much that scene, and that was it. But
I'm actually curious.
This is so in the Phantom Menace. When it's the lightsaber fight between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
that was awesome.
And when
the music fucking did that. When he pulls it out, one then the other, and and the music kicks in, and it was just fucking awesome. Like, oh god, yeah, like that was awesome. But we weren't getting up and cheering, but I was like, oh, this is fucking amazing. Like that was my reaction to it.
Mm-hmm. Brian,
in the movie theater when I first saw it when I was 11 years old in 1999, Darth Maul flips over and turns on the one saber, and when the second one comes on, it was a collective like oh, and then start clapping. It was like an oh shit moment, and that was the first one. The second one, it was from Attack of the Clones, and it's when Yoda decides to take on Count Dooku. And it wasn't when he first engages him; it was the lightsaber when he
he's spinning around.
My favorite part when me and Brian. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. Continue with your two things. Just don't let me forget about Yoda when he enters Palpatine's chamber in Revenge of the Sith.
He and his Palpatine.
Oh yeah. No, that's great.
Go ahead though. Tell me about your 3 scenes. So we got Duel of the Fates.
When Yoda turns on his lightsaber, the crowd went crazy. It was like in a wrestling term, the crowd popped.
It was a pop. Yeah. We just don't. Maybe I think it's maybe an up north thing. Like we just don't pop because I know that I've heard people from down south saying, "Yeah, the crowd were applauding." I've just never been a cinema experience where that happens. Like you never get a pop. It just don't happen.
Yeah. But anyway, why I was bringing this up is because the third time was when Grievous goes, "You fool! I've been trained in your arts by Count Dooku," and then he has 4 arms, and all of them light up. That's when the crowd went, "Holy shit!" And
which is crazy too, because you know that he's killed Jedi to get those. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it makes him a very opposing force. Not to mention how fucking strong he is to dent a spaceship with this cyborg thing,
yeah.
or the fact that he can fucking out there in space. He can survive in space. He can breathe out there. And then
he thought like I'll just jet myself out into outer space, grapple hook myself onto this.
Yep.
And then I'll be able to grab on and like everything.
Here's
Something.
Shit.
How do you not?
No.
Not like Grievous?
Well, one more thing. Someone got sucked. One of the windows got smashed. They're in outer space. There was a fucking Wilhelm scream. Why the fuck was there a Wilhelm scream?
There's a Wilhelm scream in every
Star Wars movie.
Oh, there was 2. There's actually 2 in this film. But there was one of them was when the guy was falling out the spaceship. I was like,
yeah, there's sound in space in Star Wars,
and there's explosions.
We've established that since 1977.
Established, yes,
and gravity,
defying physics since 1977.
Yeah, it's physics a Star Wars movie where nobody's watching a Star Wars movie to get tips from Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
Yes.
So fucking stupid. I can't stand him.
I was just watching this like critically. I was like, what can I say about this? And I just remember thinking that. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're fair points.
I mean, I'm not rushing home from a Star Wars movie to see what Brian Cox has to say about it.
No, I'm rushing to a Star Wars movie to escape reality.
Well, you might not, Brian. You might not be, but I am. I want to know what Brian Cox says about this.
Yet you're willing to take a leap of faith on the 4th or 6th or whatever dimension is in Interstellar. Okay.
He took a lot of leaps of faith in Mortal Kombat, that's for sure.
Yeah. I fucking cartwheeled your leap of faith into my fucking glass table.
Well,
that's a leap of faith.
To be fair, I think that was more of the mortal realm and less of the less of what was going on Mortal Kombat. Until we get to when he's riding a Final Fantasy VII like dog dragon.
It reminded me of like a basilisk mixed with like a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah,
or something
I said dragon.
I was not a fan
dog.
of that. Yeah,
I actually thought it was cool, especially growing up.
Oh my god! Like, if I was playing that on like on Final Fantasy VII, like that'd be the coolest shit ever.
I just don't think like if you're around all these fucking spaceships and machinery and stuff, what the fuck good is a goddamn dragon salamander type thing?
Yeah,
to do as a ride, you know? Like
I love. Do you know? I love that every single one of them. One of us had a different explanation. I called it a dragon dog. You call it a dog salamander, and what did you call it, Quentin?
Like a basilisk mixed with like a fucking
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
I'm just reaching for Mel Gibson stuff now.
We've already got Mel Gibson reference in here. We're fine.
We already got syphilis.
We've got syphilis.
That out there.
Gibson, we're fine.
Quintana tried to drop an Elon Musk thing in there.
I did.
You're never gonna get us, dude.
No, that's not a real attempt. But some scenes that I particularly loved. A good one that actually we got the whole theater to kind of laugh at this. When Yoda walks in to Palpatine's chamber to face him, Yoda just walks in and fucking just 4 strongest tits just smashes the guards up against the door.
They just drop.
I started dying laughing, and the whole theater started laughing.
Yeah.
Because it was just an iconic moment. It's just like, yeah, I'm fucking Yoda.
He just like, the door's open and he just fucking drops him.
Imagine that. Everybody there has probably seen that movie 100 times. And that moment still makes the entire fucking theater die of laughter.
Yeah.
It's a great moment because he's just
It is.
he walks up so like he's an
Doesn't
old
say
man
anything.
pretty much. Doesn't say anything, and then just up against the wall. And then the Emperor, like he does that move, and the Emperor's like,
He's like, fuck. And then the Emperor tries to escape. He like tries to just walk away.
oh yeah,
Leave! Why are you? I am not leaving, am I? It's just like it's something like that.
the
And
Emperor,
then
dude, the Emperor's worried. That was like the one time, other than when he finally dies in Return of the Jedi, when he actually had a fucking challenge in front of him in Yoda. I don't think. How about this, Quentin? Let me ponder this to you, because I'm curious as to what you think. That fight that Palpatine has with Mace Windu. Do you think that Mace Windu actually won, or do you think
100%? No.
Do you think Palpatine let him win to manipulate Anakin more? Because that's what
I think. I don't. Mace Windu is, if you look into Star Wars lore, at least the shit that I've looked up, and him in the Clone Wars is one of the strongest Jedis to have ever lived. He is like, in terms of his actual ability to combat by lightsaber, is like fucking almost unmatched. He's unbelievable. He's super strong, and I think that Palpatine was actually fucked. I think in that moment, Palpatine was still wondering if Anakin had flopped yet. I think Palpatine was shitting his old saggy pants with his ball sack's wrinkly skin. That's
Here's
what
why
I think.
disagree with that, though, because
The Sith are like
Palpatine. No, because Palpatine can sense Anakin coming.
Yeah.
And then he's going to be like, well, I'd be easier to turn this guy if I fucking pretended to lose this fight. And then he's basically electrocuting himself to torture Anakin's head more and be like, no, he's dying on me, and he's the only one I can.
I don't think he was actually electrocuting himself. I think that Mace Windu was actually bouncing that shit back at him. And he was...
Okay.
That's my thought. I mean, I wonder if there's an
disagree.
actual answer out there, but I think it's fun that we're able to interpret it how we will, because I think there is also a point to your side. The Sith, especially Sidious, is a master manipulator to the point where he took out fucking Darth Plagueis. So that's, I mean, you could be 100% right there. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun that that's a conversation. And Star Wars,
it's an interesting conversation to have, isn't it? Yes.
As we see with like Star Wars theories. Absolutely, Craig. Super, super quick. No, I was talking about myself with what I was going to say.
Power! Sorry. There you go.
It is so good. No, you can keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean super quick on your part. I was going to finish what I was saying, but I'm sorry. I realized I had been talking for like
I was
5
super
minutes.
quick. That was all. That was my Tyro Magnus. Unlimited power.
Yeah, dude, Ian's great as Palpatine. But no, dynamic there, because he can sense Anakin's coming, and he's like, "Ooh, this is my chance. Let me." In my head, I'm thinking like, "Hey, let me act like I've been defeated, and then it'll turn that dial that's going to make Anakin turn even more. So he'll finally break and give in and do it, because it's the." For me, it's like I mean, basically, Palpatine is the devil, and he's trying to. It's like what's the thing from the Bible? Like, who does he get to murder his brother? Cain.
Cain. Cain. Yeah, Cain killed
Cain
Abel.
and Abel. It's kind of like that thing where he's seducing Cain and be like, do it, you know. And he actually says it, do it.
And then there's the chosen one.
So he also tells me to kill Count Dooku as well. He's like saying, "You can't." He's
and I'm not trying to take anything. But Quentin, believe me when I say I'm not trying to take anything away from Mace Windu as a character. I just think that it's a pretty even fight. But then
I see
Palpatine when he senses that Anakin's coming, he's like, it's going to be easier to turn him if it looks like Mace Windu is about to murder my ass. So
100%.
That's what I think what was going on. I don't know if that changed your mind about that at all, but it is a very interesting.
I'm like kind of I'm in the middle still. I'm undecided.
Do I get an opinion?
I can see it going either way, though. Yeah,
of course. What do you think, Greg?
So I thought it was when he knew Anakin was there, because it's after Anakin comes in. that's when he goes, unlimited power. But what the fuck? Both of you run off there.
No, I was just having a drink.
No, it's that when he comes in, that's when he knows he's got backup, and that's when he can just like let himself go. Unlimited power, it's himself. He shoots him out the bloody window, like because he's broken the window, and you've got all the wind blowing in. You can see all the hair moving, and then like after 8 seconds, like all of a sudden the hair's not moving. Like there's no wind.
Does anybody find it funny that in that fight, which it's not a bad fight, but the funniest part for me is because even at that time, Ian is an old man, and he can't move around that much because most of that fight is somebody else, and they just CGI skin jobbed Palpatine, Ian's face over the Palpatine character, and whoever's the young guy is actually doing the fight. But then there'll be a part where they do a close-in shot of Ian because they need the close-up shots.
Yes,
but
then they go right back.
But then he can barely
He's so
move.
slow. He's like,
he can barely move.
It's comical.
It's so forgivable because I love that fucking guy and his performance as Palpatine. It's so good. But I just found it funny that you zoom in and he can barely move around, and then you zoom out and he's doing like flippity flips.
It takes you out of the fight.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's not the only time in like this
but
film.
Yoda and Palpatine, I actually really enjoyed that fight. Most of it was CG, obviously.
Here's a hot take.
90%.
You want to hear a hot take? I enjoyed that fight better than the Anakin Obi-Wan fight.
Oh, that is a hot take.
Well, there's one.
I think I'm the only one though.
Probably.
Yeah, I think you're the only one.
I think the second half of the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin is kind of ridiculous. Actually.
There was that really stupid part where me and Brian, I think we both looked at each other in the theater, but when they both are like waving the fucking lightsabers, like
I hate
their
that
back,
to this day.
It's so
they
bad.
sound like two helicopters, like trying to fuck each other.
Yeah,
and they're not even hitting anything, and they're both doing the exact same motion. Like no fight would ever go down like that. Come on. But I will say the first half of that fight I like way better than the second half.
Well, I think that there's also something to be said about the atmosphere that they're fighting in. There's the music that is beyond epic. I mean, you kind of go back and forth, but as you pick up during the second half of the Anakin versus Obi-Wan, you're on Mustafar. There's volcanoes and fire fucking exploding in the background as they're duking it out on this fucking crazy looking planet that is going to just make it feel like such a bigger scale and quite more epic. But both fights are exceptional. I think that, for me, I love the end fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan, but that's also because of the heart that is in it. Like this is someone who trained. He's like, it was like a father-son relationship, also like a brother relationship. So for these two to be fighting now,
he says, "You are my brother.
You are my brother. You are my brother, Anakin." Yeah, and there's just a lot more writing. I mean, they're both epic fights. It's just Mustafar was so sick. Yeah,
I love how that fight ends. Don't get me wrong. It's the basically the auditioning for the Olympic gymnastics team on the stuff that's falling into the lava.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that stuff was ridiculous. The first half of the fight between them two is probably, in my opinion, is probably the best fight in that trilogy, other than the Darth Maul fight.
Darth Maul fight's crazy.
Duel
of the Fates is like unmatched. Duel of the Fates is unmatched.
Yeah, and the opening fight is good too with Dooku and Obi-Wan and
but they still have that Christopher Lee problem like they had with Palpatine. Like even Christopher
not
Lee,
as bad as Palpatine.
Not as well. That's because
Lee actually tried to make it look good.
Christopher Lee is actually a
badass. Don't. If you two want to talk about this in your own time, don't. Just Christopher Lee is a badass motherfucker.
Well, we love him. We love him.
We were actually talking about him specifically out of the theater, and how he
for a good minute.
He lived like 50 lives in one.
Yeah.
fucking
Oh my
multiple
God.
wars.
You've no idea.
Speaking like 5 or 6 languages. He's insane.
Yeah. He also
Wasn't he like a prince? Didn't he get married to royalty?
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Quentin, I know you're typing, but do you know that he changed Lord of the Rings, the filming? Do you know about that scene? We possibly spoken about it.
Well, yeah, he was basically like in a walking encyclopedia on Lord of the Rings lore.
Well,
yeah.
it wasn't just that. It was when Wormtongue stabs him in the back, and this
thing, yeah,
wanted it to scream
People
out.
cream themselves over this, and I'm just like, it's like the Marlon Brando it's like the Marlon Brando moment with the chicken. You ever heard about that?
No.
Marlon Brando he was like in a fucking acting class or something, and the teacher was like, all right, you're gonna pretend that you're all a bunch of chickens, and an atomic bomb goes off, and you guys have to react to it. And everybody in the class, every other actor in the class is like acting like they're chicken with their heads cut off, running around like, oh shit. And meanwhile, Marlon Brando is over there just still pecking away at the fucking feed that's on the ground, and the fucking
acting coach
is like, what are you doing? And he's like, dude, it's a nuclear fuck all. What the fuck is a chicken gonna know what to do with that?
That's a great point.
And he's like, wow, you're amazing. That's the most amazing thing that's ever been said. That's how I feel about that Christopher Lee.
No, the Christopher Lee moment is sick.
It's because he lived it, dude. That is so fucking unrelated. Christopher Lee saw someone getting stabbed in the back, so it punctured their lungs, and they just couldn't exhale. So it was like.
But he got stabbed in the back, not the lungs.
Yeah, dude, if you get stabbed, like you can get to your lungs through
I've
your
never
back.
been stabbed in the lungs. I don't know.
Yeah, right, dude. If I stabbed you in where it said roughly, if it says Tampa Bay, if it had that on the back of your shirt, if I stabbed you there, like it's gonna hit your lungs. Like it's gonna be hard.
It depends where you hit it.
I was gonna say the back is a very large place.
If you hit me in the spine, I'm probably gonna go.
And then be paralyzed.
As long as they don't hit you, as long as they don't hit you in the A, I'm not going to be right. I'm going to be fine.
Just so everyone knows, Christopher Lee was in fact married to royalty. Her father was demanding that they delayed the wedding for a year and invite friends to interview Lee. Hired private detectives to investigate him. Lee provided references. Lee then had to get permission from the King of Sweden to marry his daughter.
Holy shit! This dude
he lived like 20 lifetimes.
The guy is off the chain,
motherfucker.
Off the chain.
I think he released a metal album when he was like 80 years old, and he was legit 80 years.
Yeah,
you don't have to check that. He was 80 years old.
That's crazy,
right?
This dude. But
my point being, going back to the Wormtongue thing, like Christopher Lee is so impressive, and everything that he's done in his life is so beyond what we can comprehend, that him telling a movie director how someone should be stabbed is not impressive.
I think it's pretty cool.
As far as the rest of his life.
That's fair. Like, but bear in mind,
he's marrying royalty. He's fighting in wars. He's learning 5 or 6 different languages. He was a fucking spy. Telling a movie director like, hey, that's not how a stabbing.
People getting stabbed in the back.
That's
right. Yeah, but this is also on the greatest cinema trilogy ever. Like this, like
it's pretty sick.
Not going to get basic.
And he's also one of, I'm pretty sure he's like one of, if not the only person to have met J.R.R. Tolkien.
He was the only person on that set who met on that.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's an amazing thing that he actually met the dude.
This dude is just like the epitome of like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? That is what he is. He is like the. That is him.
He's the guy that on their deathbed, they're like, "Is there anything you wish you did before you die?" He's like, "No, I did it all."
Sleep more.
He did it all like 17 times.
Yeah.
Like
he's like James Bond, bro.
Just to live 3 years of his life, it would have been more impressive than fucking. Just to live 1 year of his life would have been more impressive than anything I've ever fucking done.
Facts.
Oh my god, I'm British. Mate, I've never even walked down the streets he's walked in yet, and I'm lived in here like British. I've lived in England for.
Did he know? Did he know Ian Fleming as well?
That
would be wild.
That would not surprise me because Ian Fleming wrote that in late 50s. I'm gonna say.
Don't forget, Christopher Lee was also the man with the golden gun.
Yes, Christopher Lee was indeed a step cousin of Ian Fleming, the author of
shit! Oh my god! Like, we can all just die happy knowing we will never achieve the.
If there was a human being that I would nominate to actually have godlike powers, it would be him.
Oh my god!
I would be like, this guy wouldn't know what to do with these powers.
And is also Bear's son named Elon Musk, SpaceX, and no, I'm kidding.
God, sorry, God.
He's never gonna.
Come on, Brian, don't leave me
still mad about it.
Wait, hold on. That's actually insane. Yes, Christopher Lee was indeed step cousin of Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond novels.
That's insane.
They were related through a marriage connection. Fleming is even considered Lee for the role of Dr. No. Even considered Lee for the role of Dr. No in the first James Bond film. He was almost Dr. No. It says Fleming even considered Lee for the role in Dr. No in the first Bond film, but didn't materialize. That's crazy. Let me suggest that at least he played the role.
Being the man with the golden gun, though. So,
yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was one of the.
He's in a Bond movie. It's in. It's the man with the golden gun.
Yeah, like 3 nipples. It's the one where there's a guy with 3 nipples.
Scaramanga. Yeah.
Is it worth the watch?
Yeah,
that's one of the better ones of who did the
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore, thank you. Yes.
Roger Moore has what, 5? Yeah.
No, he has like 7.
Yeah, because we fact checked that, right?
Movies. Yeah. But he has like crazy. 2. He has 2 or 3 that I like.
Even in the two,
good film.
In the 2 Star Wars films, and I know you guys probably won't, but watch one episode of, it's called Tales of the Jedi or Tales of the Sith. It's an animated 20-minute episode, but it just goes into Count Dooku quite a bit, and it shows him with Palpatine. It's a whole episode just dedicated to him, and it's really fucking neat.
Dude,
and the voice actor of Count Dooku is phenomenal.
Dude, the fucking think about this. It's the year 2002, so he was Saruman in
Lord of the Rings.
By that was the year the 2 Towers came out, and Attack of the Clones.
That's insane.
At the same fucking year, the 2 like biggest fucking movie franchises of the day, and he's in both.
The world still to this day.
I want to talk about this. That is one thing I thought about. I was like, what year
Star Wars is dead, so
this came out 2005. The Return of the King came out 2003, so it meant it was probably finished mid-2001. This film looked so much worse for the CGI than Lord of the Rings.
Well, Lord of the Rings also used very minimal CGI, except for like 2 Towers where they actually incorporated like AI and stuff. But like, you got to think this movie is like predominantly CGI.
Dude, AI didn't exist then.
Bro, did you not see?
You don't know this about Peter Jackson with the AI incorporated with the fucking orcs? It wasn't like actual AI. AI orcs.
So it wasn't AI.
You're talking about the faraway shots, right? Of like the large armies. And
is it true that simulated orcs at Helm's Deep?
It was called like, it had a name. It was like
it was their version of AI.
You what?
Super Mouse.
It had a name, like it was like a battalion or multiple, or it was
massive software influence.
Massive. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Massive.
They basically gave the orcs their own like kind of personality to where they could kind of move around and seem more realistic in those shots, if that makes sense.
That wasn't my problem. My problem was everything else. The back shots, everything looked.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it looked a bit crap.
Like Gondor. Wait, whoa, what? What movie are you
talking about? What movie are you talking about? When at the back,
I'm talking about Return of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Okay.
Revenge of the Sith.
The other third movie. It just, all the backdrops just didn't look that good.
I thought they looked pretty great.
I know. I was.
They look way better than Attack of the Clones. That's for sure.
That's a fact. And that was
I think Phantom Menace looks better than Attack of the Clones. And we were actually talking about this because, if I'm wrong about this, please forgive me, but I'm like 90% sure this is right. But Phantom Menace was recorded on film, and Attack of the Clones was shot on digital. So film always looks better.
Yeah, episode 1 was shot on film.
Yeah. To this day, film looks better.
However, it was also one of the first major Hollywood films to use digital cameras, particularly for some sequences such as the blood sample scene. But yeah, it was mostly shot on film.
So they were experimenting with digital for the first time, and then by the time they hit Attack of the Clones, it was all digital. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of shots in this. I thought, wow, that looks bit because
it's still better than most CGI nowadays, bro.
Yeah, I know, but there's some films now that you think, wow, that looks better than it did years ago. Pirates of the Caribbean,
Dead Man's Chest, Davy Jones CG still holds up to this day. When broken down,
Bill Nighy when he's got the
when he's got the tentacles, it's still some of the best CGI that we'll ever probably see in our lives. It's unfucking real. How crisp that CG was, bro. It was unbelievable. When you watch, there's a channel of YouTubers and they break down CGI in movies, and this is what they do for a living. And they'll take certain shots of movies and kind of break it down, see what's good, what's not. But Dead Man's Chest and just the Pirates of the Caribbean movies in general are unreal.
Is that Corridor you talked about, or?
Probably. I can't imagine there's too many people doing that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of guys in LA called Corridor. They do that. But yeah, that was. But no, I just remember thinking some of this looks like this is 2 years after, right? I know obviously it was 2 years. They were released 2 years after, but they were obviously done maybe a year ago before. But I just remember thinking, this is 2 years out. This is Star Wars, their big one. Star Wars.
Well, you got to remember, dude, in 2005, there really wasn't a whole lot of crazy CG. Besides, Return of the King. When you have
no. Okay, no. Do you know what? That is a fair point. So,
when you're watching that in 2005.
And okay, right, I will concede to your point. They had Weta, who were basically the top dogs of doing anything like that. If you're doing anything CG, Weta are the guys to go to.
Who?
And that's what's Weta, WETA.
Weta.
Yeah, so I believe they're from New Zealand. So they're the ones who did. They're the ones who did Gollum. So Gollum,
okay.
all the Gollum, right? They did that and everything else. So yeah, fair point.
I can't imagine them having a fucking bigger reputation than Industrial Light and Magic, though.
I think Industrial Light and Magic have got more reputation in their sound design at the moment. I would think that's probably where they're getting the most response from.
Well, they literally invented.
I keep saying I haven't got any.
They literally invented pretty much special effects
Insane.
They were a company created to do the special effects for the very first Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
and,
that is what they are. Yeah,
they did it, and they also started the CGI special effects with starting with Jurassic Park, and actually I think The Abyss came out before that. They did that, but
The Abyss was James Cameron, right?
1989.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, bro, but I need to because I watched a lot of behind the scenes of that film.
Yeah, I've never actually watched that movie.
That film is what made Terminator 2 possible, when they had that liquid effect of the face.
Yeah, and that came out before Jurassic Park 2 as well. Yeah, but Industrial Light and Magic, it was like the company that if you needed good special effects, that was the one you.
Oh, that's what's her name
for basically forever up until like the last like 10-15 years.
No, but they were absolutely awesome. But no, this honestly, should we get to scores? Because this felt like when they get to, we've gone through the whole. You were supposed to be the best of us. The music is. Fuck it, I'll go first. I'll just designate myself first. Music, it's a 10 out of 10. Like I am not bouncing the music on this one. The
10 out of 10.
The music.
Oh yeah, facts.
Music on this, and it's the one that gets me is the choirs, when it's just got that vocal choir just going. Yeah, it's just fucking fabulous. It's just so good.
My favorite is probably Duel of the Fates from Episode 1, and then Anakin and Padme's song that I can't tell you the name of, but their little instrumental music that plays in the background is beautiful.
Is that when he says it's Sanders course and
it gets in his asshole?
Yeah, it gets in.
TIE Fighter attack.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. That's my favorite piece of music for the whole song.
TIE Fighter attack.
Yeah, it's the one where they in the very first Star Wars movie they escape the Death Star, but then those 4 TIE fighters show up and they have to shoot them out of the sky.
Heard that.
Okay, rating. I'll give it a 7. It's not as good as my memory wants me to remember because of all the shortcomings, because some of the CGI on this is shit. Some of the writing on this is shit, but some of it is absolutely fantastic. And you can tell that every penny on the CGI was spent on the lightsaber battles. Beg your pardon. They just, all of it went on that because that was fantastic. Everything else, I thought, it was like,
you didn't like the traffic.
I didn't like the traffic. I didn't like the final, like, dude. I didn't like the Final Fantasy VII dog, like dragon dog. I didn't like that. But I thought that was just stupid. And also the fact that you can just walk out and you can just jump in. It's not even like get in the car. You just like jump in the cockpit and then all of a sudden you're off into space. But none of them. God damn it! Here's one thing: they didn't have plastic.
What?
That's what they look. They had their little speaker thing on their head, but they have no plastic. It was all metal, but it looked like. That is exactly what.
Confused as to what you're.
Okay, at the start of the film, where he's saying, R2, disable them. Their communicators, like they've literally.
You're talking about their headsets that they have on.
Yeah, metal head. They've got a metal headband.
Well, you just didn't like.
They haven't got. They've got. They can defy gravity, but they haven't got plastics. Like, I thought, wow.
Well, Obi-Wan also has a fucking mouth breather that he uses underwater.
I'm fine with that, but
You don't. You're not okay with that.
But the fact that they've got metal, like,
yeah, what's wrong with that?
it looked like this. That's what's wrong with it.
You just didn't like the way it looked.
Yeah, I just didn't like the way it looked.
I feel like
I was like,
dude,
just get some plastic.
Fucking boomer.
Just get some elastic band. Just
I don't
something.
like what these space kids are wearing these days. In my day, you either wore a helmet or you didn't.
That he's complaining about the traffic on Corpse.
Or do you want me to lie? Right, come on, fuck off. Bunch of.
I'm just gonna give you shit.
It's a strange thing to fucking see.
No. So Muppet rating. There's a lot of Muppetry going on this. Explosions in space. Come on, we've gone way past that by this time. We know that doesn't happen. Still, fucking everything's blowing up like fuck. The thing that starts just falling down in the middle of space, the spaceship.
It's Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know you want Brian Cox to get on set and straighten everybody out. And,
oh god. Oh my god.
Potentially ruin the movie.
Well, you want Bill Nye the Science Guy to go explain?
What do you want? Do you want an honest answer, or do you want me to just go placate you and just go?
I just think you gotta
like
you gotta understand the film you're watching.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Don't worry, I know I'm getting this back in when I'm putting this anime on. I know I'm getting some bullshit back.
You're gonna get double dick.
It's not even gonna be me. It's gonna be quick. I'm just gonna mute my mic and let Quentin eviscerate
it. Oh my god!
It's gonna actually end up being good. That's the problem.
It might. I'm going into it like looking with an open mind, and I'm actually like very curious as to what.
Craig's going into it with an open butthole.
Oh no! Do you know what, Brian? I am disappointed you found that funny. I am actually disappointed you found that funny. And Quentin, I will fucking eviscerate you.
I bet you will. What?
And I'm not talking about your butthole. I will just eviscerate you. Right. Okay. Muppet rating. I've got to give it. There's so much bullshit. Like the fucking Final Fantasy VII dog dragon. Brian, can you? Brian, fucking sort yourself out. Jesus.
Oh my god.
I need you back on camera so I can just fucking. Oh, for fuck's sake! Jesus.
Oh.
He's got. Fuck it.
Oh, dude, I was not ready for that one. Holy shit! Oh.
Even Jane.
Where did Quentin go?
Oh, I'm back.
Where did Quentin go? What did he do?
I almost spit out water and then a booger came out. So
this one's kind of gone off the rails.
This is almost as fun as combat.
We haven't even tried to. It's gone off the rails. Okay, Muppet rating. I've got to give it giving it a 9. It is loaded.
Oh my god,
that's crazy, bro.
Dude, he's giving it a 9 because he's so mad that there isn't actual like fucking.
There's no
shit in this. It's a goddamn space fantasy, man. Like. You're not gonna get fucking the fucking.
We got White Neil deGrasse Tyson has entered the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
he's fine with all the bullshit in Mortal Kombat, but he's not okay with
Here's the interesting thing. I gave it a 9. I've never questioned any of you on your Muppet ratings or anything like that. As soon as I gave it a 9, you immediately went, this isn't supposed to be taken seriously. None of this is real. We're reviewing films. Right? You are fucking giving me shit.
To each his own. I'm going to go ahead.
It's just funny what you're mad at. It's there's so much to be mad at with these movies. You're going
into traffic and General Grievous.
This film is the end of Star Wars. Right? This is
you're
where
going
Star
into
Wars
General
ended.
Grievous's cough. The traffic that is in an outer space planet. You've gone into what's the other thing? The one that we were just talking about.
Did you want me to fucking put it on chat? So
I don't know. There were so many rants he went on.
It's okay though. I mean, that's
I-
part of reviewing the film. Some shit works and some stuff doesn't work for you. It's okay. I just am going to combat it with fucking things. That's all. That's how we do this. Good critic, bad critic. You know.
Okay, I am gonna put everything in my notes because it was sort of like random, but go ahead.
It was just the things that got to you. I don't understand. Like,
I've got a note here. The robots sounded gay, and I was like, why did they make the robots sound gay? I don't understand why they did that.
What robots? What are you talking about?
Oh no, let's go.
You mean the droids? The droids.
The droids, yeah.
They sounded.
The droids with the robotic voices.
Yeah, why does that make them sound gay?
I don't know.
No, they sounded a bit like if I had to do a gay voice, that is exactly what it sounded like.
And not 3PO, who is played by a gay
Who was
actor.
D'Anthony Daniels.
He said D'Anthony Daniels.
Fuck off. Anthony Daniels.
That was epic. That was the greatest thing you ever said. That was amazing.
Off. Yes, I know. I said right. Okay. Anything watching? It is 4 minutes to 5 a.m. I'm putting up
You're worried about the infrastructure on Mustafar. It's a fucking alien planet. What are they doing there? Why are they there? They're mining. Oy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and review. I'm gonna go ahead and rate this movie. I'm right there with Craig. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Is this okay now? Is it okay that he gives it a 7?
Well, I got certain problems with this film. They may not be the traffic or the infrastructure on Mustafar, but my issues, and it's crazy because I have a lot of love and a lot of respect for Hayden Christensen. I truthfully do, and I'm so happy to see the overwhelming fan support that he has gotten, especially over these past few years, because I really don't think that he ever deserved as much hate as he got. Me and Brian talked a little bit about this outside of the theater, but the dialogue that an actor is given, especially by George Lucas, is not necessarily always the strongest. It just isn't. When you give an actor certain roles, they gotta have something to work with. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Brian, but I remember we spoke briefly on the fact that maybe George Lucas wasn't a very hands-on director with the actors. Was that right?
Yeah, no. I'll get to it more later. But
okay, so he'll touch on that.
George is not at least in my opinion, he's not particularly talented as a writer or a director for that matter. But
Nora says.
Well, actually, let me take that back. Not as I think he's a good director, but he's not good at directing actors.
Yeah,
you know, but he knows exactly what he wants in terms of how he wants things to look and everything. But he just writes things down and he expects like them to say the things like perfectly immediately. You know,
to my point though, I don't think that Hayden had a lot of experience before stepping into this role on Attack on the Clones, which is the worst of the 3 movies in my opinion. So I think he received a lot of hate, and I think that he did a good job. But when you're surrounded by a cast that is so much better, that has been around for so much longer, it's going to show. For myself, it's just his performance was kind of a drag at certain points through the film. The shitty dialogue at certain points could kind of throw you for a loop. This movie was a blast to sit through and watch episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, in theaters again was a dream I didn't even know that I needed to come true. Because to hear that music in a fucking theater, to see it on the big screen is what these movies were made for. I still had an absolutely amazing time. I think Darth Sidious, the actor whose name I keep forgetting like an idiot, was exceptional. That evil laugh to go from the Chancellor to then the Emperor was just, oh my God, you could see the switch in him. And to do that as an actor is you're playing 2 roles. We've seen it with other actors and they typically win Oscars for it. They're praised for the rest of their lives. this guy definitely should have received that same love and treatment. If he didn't, I don't know why, but he was quite exceptional. Natalie Portman, I earned a great deal of respect watching through even Attack on the Clones and then into Revenge of the Sith. I didn't really ever think that she was like a crazy good actress, but I fell in love with her character through these movies. And even though the dialogue wasn't it, I still think that the raw emotion that she shared on screen with us was brilliant. I thought that she was fantastic throughout this movie. The story itself, seeing Anakin go to the dark side, is something that Star Wars fans always wanted. For myself, I never knew that there was a Vader and Anakin because I started off with the prequels growing up. I fell in love with Star Wars a little bit later in life. I actually watched A New Hope with Brian for the very first time in my life years ago. But to grow up on the prequels and, you know, see this character that I had loved, you know, as a kid, and then go to the dark side, see him battle it out with an almost father/brother-like figure, that was a level of depth for me and a kid to kind of digest. It felt like it was a crazy twist of just a plot that I hadn't seen. So it was super neat. I enjoy this movie a lot. It was the last of the true Star Wars movies. And to be able to go back and experience this again in a cinema that had a decent amount of people in it was pretty amazing. So 7 out of 10. Muppet Reader, I'll give it like a 6 because there's some quirky moments in there, but that's part of the Star Wars, man. You can't ever, to try to get rid of that, it wouldn't be Star Wars. I'm all there for it. That's what I think. Brian, what you got?
Before you do, Brian, can we just all say this was the last of actual Star Wars?
Well, yeah.
Okay. This felt like Star Wars.
Yeah.
And nothing else has.
Besides animated shit, yes.
Yeah, which I haven't seen, so I can't comment on. But yes.
If you're talking about Star Wars cinematic live action, what it was born and bred with, yes.
Yeah, this was that. Go ahead, Brian. You started us off with a rant. Please end us off with a rant. Go ahead.
I don't know if I'm going to end it with a rant. I mean, look, watching this back, like Quentin said, it was nice to see this on the big screen again. Some of the problems that I've always had with it are I was reminded of it watching it. But I'm going to give it it's going to be 7s across the board. I'm giving it a 7 as well. I went into it thinking I was going to give it an 8, but then some of the problems showed up. And I was like, yeah, this is... And I'll tell you what, because I remember I did watch this about 3 years. The last time I watched Revenge of the Sith was 3 years ago, but it was after I had watched the other two. And I watched the prequel trilogy in a row. And when you watch Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, or at least in my experience, if you watch them all in a row, it becomes blatantly clear that Revenge of the Sith is by far the best of the three. And if I had done that, I'd probably rate this an 8. But because I just saw it on its own, and you see it for what it is, I'm giving it a 7. I love the Anakin's turn to the dark side, even though Hayden's acting can be questioned. It's kind of stiff and questionable at times. It's not his performance in Attack of the Clones, though, so it's hard to complain about it now. But I just love that the love story is pretty shit. The dynamic between Anakin and Obi-Wan is excellent. The relationship between Anakin and Palpatine is so good, and just to see his fall, that's what we're all there for. It's a great event, and it's tragic, and 7 out of 10. It's the problems that I probably have with it the most are just what I said. Like, Hayden's kind of his performance is wooden at times, but I would never go out of my way to be like, yeah, he fucking sucks. No, I thought he did a great. It's hard to do a great job with that dialogue, let me tell you. And a lot of those actors did a tremendous job with that dialogue. But I love
Obi-Wan in particular.
Yes,
I want to say maybe Brian, you best want to fucking commentate on this on. the fact that he thinks his wife's going to die giving birth. Would you like? Yeah, probably would. Like, go to the dark side, and you've got a get out clause.
Would you? What are we talking about? You're talking about going to the dark side?
Go to the dark side, get out jail clause. So there's a way for you to deal with this.
Well, and I think you're assuming that you're taking Palpatine for his word, and that he in fact can keep people from dying. Which we don't know if that's true.
You're being vulnerable. You're being attacked when you're being at your most vulnerable. So it's exactly what he did.
So what's the question?
Would I go to the dark side in that moment? I would say, you know how to keep people from dying? Show me, motherfucker. And then
because Anakin has no real reason to believe him at this point.
Exactly. He has no reason to believe at all because he hasn't demonstrated that.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also for years and years and years of being trained as a Jedi, for Anakin to just now suddenly, that's why the Clone Wars is so fucking important. I can't stress that enough.
I mean, the emotional side of it would be a strong argument, I think, but I just don't imagine I would trust anybody that much, especially a politician, the head politician, to
Brian,
tell me the fucking truth. You know,
Brian, we have established you do not trust politicians. That is well documented.
Yeah. So if you're talking about the guy who's in charge of them all, absolutely. And he told me to keep you.
I think
fuck off.
I think I would possibly crumble. I think that is.
How about if you looked at it this way? How about if the devil is real and the devil was trying to
giving you like an ultimatum?
How would you if you put it that way? I think that's a much more interesting question.
Yeah, because like you're trying to put yourself in Anakin's mindset that really doesn't work because you're two different people. And then it's like, well, Anakin, truth be told, you were fucking stupid in this movie. Like,
mate, I've been stupid my whole fucking life. I struggle with that one.
You and all of us.
Every one of us.
All three of us, and everyone watching. We know we
demonstrated a lot on this podcast. But
yes, we have. But no, it was one of those. What would I do? Like, if I was given that sort of get out of jail free cards, like just if I could.
But I don't think
I know it's a stupid way
because the last thing I would do is trust the slimy ass politician. That's for sure. So
facts.
If I was desperate, if I was desperate, I don't know what to do. And I hate to say that because I like to think I'm smarter than that, but
yeah. But of the three movies in the prequel trilogy, I think this is the best.
Yes,
I am one of the rare ones that actually likes Phantom Menace. It's Attack of the Clones is the one that I have probably too many issues with to say it's a good movie. But of the three, this is by far the best, no question. If you're looking at this objectively, it's got the most compelling stuff in it for sure, and it's got the even if the CGI is dodgy at a few times in this, which it is, it's still got the best CGI. So and it's got the coolest effects and things of that nature. So it's the best Muppetry rating. I would probably give it. It's kind of high. I'd probably give it a 7.
Can I just point out something? Of all the messages that me and you have ever sent to each other, even above everything that is history related, you have always sent me more messages about the younglings, and you didn't even bring it up.
Oh, I didn't. You're right. Oh shit. Yeah. No, I'll tell you what. That fucking scene. I love sending you memes just because it makes you think I'm fucking out of my mind.
Oh no, I know you're out of your fucking mind. That's fine.
Yeah. Those memes confirm it. I find those memes hilarious because you know that I can have a very dark sense of humor at times.
Yeah.
Quentin is that way too. If you get him going, he has a very dark sense of humor. So Quentin, I don't know if you heard that, but we're talking about the.
Oh no, I can hear
Master Skywalker. Yeah. What are we going to do? And
that scene is heartbreaking.
No, even like Quentin,
dude,
he was trying to get me to laugh at that, but when we watched it, no, it's still. Even with all the memes that we've all sent each other with that particular scene and how funny we think they are.
No. The memes you've sent me, dude.
I send them all to Quentin too. I send them all to Quentin too. So
I get that every day. It's like, is it? It's the fucking younglings again. Like they're all dead. Right, okay.
Yeah, but no. When we actually watch that in real time, you actually like. I think, and I like gas.
It's heartbreaking when you watch it. It is,
and I think there was like two or three other people in the theater that's also gasped at that scene. And you know, everybody in that theater seen that movie 100 times, so it still has that effect. That little flinch that kid made that scene because that
kid should have played little Anakin.
That little flinch that he does when Anakin turns on the lightsaber, it makes it so much more fucking horrifying. It really did because he's like confused, but then there's a part of him that like knows he's oh shit,
yeah,
I'm dead.
I had to bring it up because like that is something that happens with us.
I actually hate that scene because it's so terrible.
Brian pointed something out to me that I never noticed in this film, probably because I didn't really grow up with the old with the originals, the sequels, but Chewbacca. His face in this movie looks a little odd, a little Sasquatch-ish. It's not your average.
He doesn't
Chewbacca.
look like he does in all the other Star Wars movies. That's
watching it back, I couldn't tell which one was him because there was like 9 of them.
Well, one of them has his like stash of shit, and then also isn't armored up. They do actually. I think they do a pretty good job of like kind of making the Wookiees all look very individual, like making them all have their own identity. But Chewbacca just looked odd to me.
Oh god! Well, tell it to the people who made the Acolyte because they didn't make that one.
I don't even know what that show is.
I remember when Revenge of the Sith was coming out in 2005. And the number one thing that I was looking forward to was seeing the Wookiees and seeing them on their home planet.
They probably were advertising
because Kashyyyk is actually, and again, I don't want to sound like a diehard Star Wars fan, but I feel like I was kind of a sort of big one.
You're a bit in terms of like general people. You're a bit of a diehard Star Wars.
Yeah, but I haven't seen everything. Like I haven't seen the Clone Wars. Quentin has. There's certain things that I haven't read.
There's different generations of Star Wars.
There is.
Fans.
In my experience, like when I was a kid, my brother introduced me to Star Wars, and then there was nothing. There was no prequel trilogy yet. There was nothing. So what you could do is you could play a video game that was of the time, like a video game.
Battlefront was sick.
N64.
No, this is before that.
I'm talking about the 90s.
Great. I'm talking about Nintendo 64. If you go back before even that, like Super Nintendo.
Well, you had the Super Nintendo. You had all the 3 films were on the Super Nintendo, and I know that because I'm looking at it and I've got it. And
Star Wars games in the 90s. Holy shit!
Yeah, but
they were
Nintendo
fucking
64
amazing.
In particular, like I had Shadows of the Empire.
Yep, and you had Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, Rogue Squadron.
DroidWorks, X-Wing.
Yeah, but anyway, so there was a period in there where like all you had was video games, and you could buy books that continued the story after Return of the Jedi. That's where Grand Admiral Thrawn came in with the Timothy Zahn trilogy, which should have been the
books,
sequel.
right?
Yeah, if you wanted to make a good Star Wars movie, Disney should have just done the Thrawn trilogy right after.
Well,
you probably would have had to recast. No, they didn't try. They didn't take that exact story that I'm talking about. You're talking
about the one with Luke?
Yeah, they would have. What they would have had to do, which might have been controversial at the time, is they would have had to recast Luke, Leia, and Han and get younger actors to play the appropriate age of themselves, because you can't have Mark Hamill, who's like 70 years old, playing a 30-year-old Luke, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So you couldn't have done that. So people would have bitched and moaned about that. But the story is so good. I highly recommend. They've decanonized it now, like I said in my original rant in the beginning of the video.
How does that work? So now they're just selecting shit to bring in.
It used to be called the Expanded Universe. Now it's called Legends. But I highly recommend that people the Legends, which was Expanded Universe, that's the good start. Like you could nitpick anything you want, but it's just books. But the storylines that they had in those were fucking good, and people bought those books in droves. And I highly recommend anybody who doesn't like the stupid Disney Star Wars stuff to look into those, because those are quite good. And those are how characters like that were plucked out of the Expanded Universe and thrown into the Disney shit show, like Grand Admiral Thrawn. You should see him in his original element, because in that he's not going up against Ahsoka or any of these characters that are not part of the main thing. He's going up against Luke, Leia, and Han and the new Republic. I'm
pretty sure Ahsoka was created by George Lucas.
No, I'm not disputing that. I'm saying that Thrawn.
Gotcha.
Thrawn's original story had nothing to do with Ahsoka, because Ahsoka wasn't invented yet.
Yeah.
And that story is so much better than anything that he's involved in with Rebels or the Ahsoka show. It's just Thrawn is like a shell of his former self in those.
Oh, he definitely on the TV show.
Thrawn is the main villain in the Timothy Zahn book series, and it should have stayed that way. But anyway,
yeah, they should never put him on TV, because oh my god, could you do him more dirty? They did him so dirty on that show.
Yeah,
they could grab some guy off the street and just spray paint him blue. That is literally.
I mean, he's the voice actor from the animated.
I don't have a problem with the way he looks. I have a problem.
I think his voice. I think him as an actor, he was actually great. I don't think it's a him problem. I think that was more of a writing problem. I don't know the Thrawn story.
I think he looks fine and acts fine. Like he acts and fine as Thrawn. He looks fine as Thrawn. It's what they have him do and what storylines he's involved in. He's having space witches raise fucking zombies, stormtrooper zombies back from the dead. It's not Thrawn. You know, that's what I have an issue with.
It wasn't that. It wasn't just that. It was the fact that he. My train of thoughts just disappeared. It was the fact that he didn't have them go. Oh my god! Fucking hell! I'm so tired. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. It's only 6 a.m. where you are.
No, it's not. It's like 4:20 in the morning.
Oh, then you have no excuse. Piece of shit.
Fuck off.
It's all right. If it comes back to you, we can get back to it.
You go ahead. Like, go.
None. I mean, we gave our reviews for it.
We can wrap this up if you want.
Yeah, let's wrap this up. I am absolutely fucking knackered.
If you guys made it to the end of this video, thank you for hanging out with us.
I think the point of this whole thing is, like, this was Quentin's idea, and thank you for doing this. I did enjoy going out and watching this in the theater. I think the main thing to be gathered from this experiment here is that Revenge of the Sith is still, even with all its flaws, it's still a revered Star Wars movie. If you like Star Wars, then you love this movie. Which you can't say about any of the new stuff.
Yeah, I think it's more revered now than it was previously. Everything afterwards has made it. Yes, this is revered. No, actually, that is Star Wars, and that sounds stupid, but I think that is something that is actually true. everything, because everything is so much worse and like just gone against everything Star Wars. This is Star Wars. Okay, this is canon. This is what we want.
All right, well, let's hop on out of here. That's our Revenge of the Sith review / rant / Muppet Fest. That was a pretty wild one.
That was a fun one.
It was fun though.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, but anyway, so before we go, do we want to establish that? Do we want to do the Monty Python movie? Since
I'm down if you guys are down.
If we can make time for it. If not, we should do basketball.
Yeah, we'll do basketball if we can't.
I thought we were doing basketball, but
whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah,
the Monty Python was just an idea because similar to Revenge.
I would love to see that.
Revenge of the Sith. It's coming back into theaters for a Fathom event this week in select theaters. So
yeah,
what do you think we could take the piss out of Quintana for more? Would it be Monty Python or would it be basketball? What do you think we could just rip into him more for?
I'll say this. I am excited to see basketball, but I've never given a fuck about sports in any light. And I guess this movie points fun at the fact of like certain sports. But the whole sports, like I just don't care for sports, but I do want to do this movie. So whether it's next week, this week, I don't care. Monty Python is something that my wife has told me about for years, and I've just never seen it. So that would be pretty cool to do if we can make time for it. If not, we could always do that movie another time. So whatever you guys want to do, your dealer's choice.
All right, we'll figure it out.
My point of view on that one then is do Monty Python so he can watch it with his wife and she can tell him all the fucking jokes. That is,
I'm gonna drag Brian along too if we can swing it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'd like to see how it looks on a big screen.
It'd be fun.
Yeah. All right.
Is this another one where you two go to the cinema together? And
I'll FaceTime you.
We can't fly to England and see it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, mate. You're in England.
I have an idea.
You can't come. I never told you this. So you two have been going behind my back. You don't want to know spoilers, but you.
No, we talked about this 2 weeks ago on the podcast. We went through the brief synopsis of it about time and body swapping and things like that. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys taking a little bit of time and bringing us back 20 years to go see Revenge of the Sith with us. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We look forward to seeing you next week, potentially Monty Python, potentially basketball. We'll see what happens. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Peace out.